Hey everybody, this is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I'm Maureen Grodzinski and I'm here with my great co-host Anthony Simonelli, otherwise known as.
Just to forget about it. How you doing tonight?
So we are here tonight. We were supposed to originally have Dan Clace with us. However, he's celebrating a birthday with his daughter. Happy birthday. And we have a great guest with us instead, Jenny Colucci. Hi
Hi.
Jenny.
Hey,
Hey.
Jenny's in the house.
not Dan Kless.
Not
Although
Dan
he
Clace.
is a friend of mine, a wonderful guy, and happy
hmm
birthday, Addison.
I
Yeah,
had
his
the
daughter's
great
birthday. So,
I had the great pleasure of working with Dan. He's awesome.
He's fantastic.
Um, but we're happy to have you. And Jenny is from Parasite Investigations. So we will be getting some information from you and talking about what you do with your team.
Okay.
So, where
Sounds
are you
good.
located?
So we're located in New York and New Jersey. We also have one member in Pennsylvania and one in Maryland.
Ah, so
Yeah,
you're
we get
franchised.
around. Yes, we do. Mostly New
Don't,
Jersey though, and
don't say that too much.
yeah, no, exactly. Anthony, our it's so Frankie is the founder of Parasite Investigations. He and Anthony together, and Anthony lives in New York. He's a police officer in Queens.
We hear that a lot in the paranormal world. Do you think that a lot of police officers have seen things and they tend to get into the paranormal because of that, or is it something else?
Yeah, he's waving. He knows Queen. I said Queens. I said the key word there, right? Um,
ooh.
yeah.
Ayo.
um, I would say it's more. I mean, in our case, it's more the job. I mean, it absolutely lends itself to the investigation. So, I mean, being a police officer, he's got a calm demeanor. He goes through things methodically,
hmm
that type of thing. And Frankie, obviously, he being a social worker and therapist, that's amazing because let's face it, a lot of times this is about grief.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great mix of careers involved there because there's a lot that people observe that normally you wouldn't have on a team.
Exactly.
hmm
And then comes me. I'm the
It's,
third
it's all
wheel.
good on right now. He was a former police officer also.
Oh,
Chris, yeah,
really?
Yeah, he
Chris
was.
Walker.
Okay.
So yeah, that
Okay.
helps. Like you said, it helps out the investigations because you know you're a little open-minded to certain things because you're out in the street and now yeah, that's cool.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love his method of thinking, sort of a
hmm
critical thinker.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So,
And
exactly.
and you said you do what?
I have a science background, so my degrees are in languages and science. So I am definitely the nerd, the team nerd, and definitely the one who approaches it the most skeptically, the most critically. But what I loved about Frankie is that he said, "Good." Some teams wouldn't say that, but Frankie was like, "Good, we need that. You need to check us all the time." So I
mhm.
appreciated that.
That's definitely great to have somebody who is a little bit more skeptical and thinks about things a little bit more logically
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
Mhm.
otherwise everybody would be like, "Oh my god, demons and ghosts."
And you go
Yeah.
right to that, right? Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
especially because we're big fans of Hans Holzer. We love that method. So we try to use sensitives, but also we try to use me, to sort of say, hey, I know a little bit about physics, and this is why this door is vibrating, or something like that. Um,
hmm
so I
Yeah.
think it's a great combination. I think the more talents you have on the team, the better. They all come together.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's
we always said one investigation with you guys, and you guys are so in sync. You, Frank, Anthony. I mean, like to go on an investigation we went to, even Ron and Lotus was like, you guys we couldn't believe. It's like, wow, there's you guys so in sync, and it's a different type of team than I'm used to a lot of times
Right.
because everybody has opinions.
We
So
are so in sync. In fact, I think even our team doesn't know how much we talk. We talk all day, every day. I mean, we have a sort of a chat that we do, and we
mhm.
are constantly talking. But even from the start, we just really meshed, like you said. I mean, we talk at the same time. We say things at the same time. We just think alike. And at the same time, sometimes we disagree, but we respect each other.
Yeah. Like I said, you guys are so in sync with
We
everything.
really are. Thank you for
Yeah.
noticing. We really, really are. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I've been in this for a long time. I do notice things. You
Right.
know,
I
why
know.
not? I know it looks like I'm just sitting in a chair falling asleep half the time, but I do notice things.
No. I've had the privilege of working with Anthony several times, investigating with Anthony many
Well,
times. And in fact, I admit it, I kind of follow him around like a puppy, like learning. I soak up everything I can from you because you have so much experience. So
oh, okay. I mean, I like
it's
working
true.
with you too
It's
because
true. We just were together at the Patchett House 2 weeks ago.
yeah, yeah, we did it in the attic with the little girl running from the shadows running across the top. Remember the little girl? We were doing the thing with the knock.
Yeah. The knocking in the basement
Yeah.
and then that EVP, which we almost missed because we weren't doing an EVP session.
Hmm.
Just to give you an idea of what happened, we were hearing knocks from the basement door, so we were trying to record the knocks,
Yes.
and we were playing that back, and I was doing experiments, walking into the room, trying to make the knocks that we obviously always try to debunk everything to death. That's my favorite word. Other than pre-bunk, which is another thing we do, we walk around first and say that's going to look paranormal, but it's not. So I'm like pre-bunking time, then there's debunking time. Anyway, so we're walking around trying to make the knocks, and all of a sudden, playing it back, you hear this, "Get out!" We were like,
That was an awesome
"Oh,
catch.
Wow.
that was really clear." And it just goes to show you always have to have your ears open, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we weren't listening for the voice, but yeah, I guess that gentleman was not so happy with the 5 women in his kitchen anymore.
Well, we call that the F investigation because all that place, this guy used the 4-letter word on us every time we did
Oh
something.
yeah,
F you,
oh
F
yeah,
you, F you. The whole time, every time he got something back, it didn't matter if it was on a record EVP or on the Staticom.
right,
He was cursing us out, and he
yeah,
kept on saying, "Get out, get out,"
yeah.
the whole
I mean,
time.
what do you think about that? I mean, it's I think about that a lot when we're told to get out. Recently, we went to the Betsy Ross house. Not a lot of people investigate that,
Ooh.
and we got EVPs like never before, like crazy sentences in a row EVPs, but they were very much get out of my house now, leave, that
Mhm.
type of thing. A woman, and you know, we usually say okay, sure, we respect that, we're gonna leave. But what happens if you just get there, right? And someone's saying get out. What do you do?
I know. Okay,
What do you
fine.
think? I mean, I think you say, look, we have permission to be here. We'd really like, to be friends here. We're not looking to antagonize you, sort of explain it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to say you're welcome either.
Well, a lot of times we do anyway. We stay
Yeah,
welcome
of course.
because you're driving how many hours to a location,
Right.
and then they say get out. I'm like, I'm sorry,
I
I'm
don't think
staying.
so. Not yet.
We'll leave.
Sorry, not
But
sorry.
we don't leave it right now. But
Yes,
I mean, you
right.
could ask permission, stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of times they just want they had enough of you. It's like, and I always use the example: if you're sitting on your couch in your living room,
Right.
some stranger comes walking in, comes
Right.
in, and you're like, who are you?
Exactly. Exactly.
You're in my
Exactly.
house. Get out.
Yep. And Anthony has a great, and now Anthony M. I call him Anthony M because he doesn't use his last name, being a police officer. And I always say, if I tell you his last name, I have to kill you, then investigate you. So
Yeah, that's cool.
no, we're not telling him exactly. But Anthony uses an analogy of meeting someone in a bar. So he says you walk into the bar, and you sit down and you introduce yourself and you say, hey, where are you from? How are you doing? You don't say, how did you die?
Yeah.
That type of thing. So
Oh yeah.
I really like that analogy.
Hmm. Oh yeah. When you speak to a spirit, I mean, first of all, if you notice how we speak to them out of respect.
Right.
Because they're a person. If I come up to you and start getting nasty in your face, you're gonna come back nasty. All right.
Right. Right.
And spirits, like if you're in a location and they hear all the time, "What's your name?" You know,
Right.
and after a while, I guess you got to think outside the box.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, what's your favorite
Yes.
chocolate? What's your favorite candy? Well, I used to one time, and Ron used laughing at me because I was like, um, something happened. I'd ask, so, you like chocolate or vanilla? And it
Right.
wasn't even like part of the question. It was like something out of left field. And
Yeah. It's
you
better.
know, you like vanilla with chocolate ice cream? What kind of ice cream you like? And we've got stuff in Gettysburg. My friend Joe that passed,
Right.
him and my son were out in the field over by Peach Orchard,
Okay.
and I was by the right outside the field,
Hmm.
and at the time the Confederate soldiers were supposed to be in the field, and Union armies on the outside. Okay, where I was standing. So
Right.
I have like a little spark gun. It's pitch black. I'm get you. So I keep on shooting it, and you can hear the pop, pop, pop. And they're in the field, and they're laying down. And somebody, friend Joe, goes, "Hey, I got some chocolate. We got an EVP. He got an EVP,
Yeah.
saying, break me a piece of chocolate."
Oh my God. Wow.
And it was like the way it was said was like, wow, he got a direct response to something that had nothing to do with,
Right.
it was a battle going on, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
So,
what you expect in a battleground. What kind
hmm
of
What I
vanilla or
love about
chocolate?
that so much though is you can't really say that that was someone messing around now because break
Right.
me a piece, that's not what we would say now.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
say, can I have a
Right.
piece, not break me a piece.
Break me a piece
Because
because
back then chocolate was like a chunk.
any candy really was probably a lot of breaking,
Yeah.
yeah,
toffee, that type of
yeah,
thing.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Anthony, I mean, when I work with you, I try to, I mean, you're incredibly sensitive to spirit, and it shows. I mean, you really, so I try to sort of follow your lead with that.
oh, thank you.
No, it's
Well,
true. I mean, it's true.
He's
I
really
really like the way you
talented.
interact with it. With
at the Ritz Theater, remember we had that the door open.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'd love to tell Maureen about this. The
Tell us,
famous
tell us.
door at the Ritz Theater. We have a residency at the Ritz Theater, so we host investigations there. And Dan was one of our guests recently, actually. And that was a really active night with Dan. I think Dan brings the activity with them. I really do. Um,
He brings them. They all jump in his car from
I
Hinsdale,
mean it.
and he
I'm
brings them
telling
with
you, yeah,
him.
it
Hey,
was the most active night. I really think they all like Dan. Well, he's got a way about him too, doesn't he? Like a wonderful way about him.
hmm
He's really laid back and kind
Yeah.
of casual and smiley.
Yeah, I mean, we've had amazing, amazing guests there. And, it's never been investigated before we got there. Maybe once, I think, a long time ago, but not really officially. So it took us a while to get it to warm up, to be honest. Like, I'm sure that if there were spirits there, they were like, what are they doing? Who's talking to us right now? Kind of thing. But by the time we got you there, we did a VIP night. We had Anthony, as well as Ron, Lourdes, Rich, Michelle, a whole bunch of others.
hmm
And that was such a great night. I understand that you work together occasionally, but you really don't have a chance. I mean, at Paracon, you're not investigating together. And this was just a chance for them all to get together and investigate a place that had never been investigated.
And that was
Um,
awesome.
and it was awesome. It was
That was
really just
awesome.
energizing. We all
Mhm.
left very energized. But anyway, there is a rehearsal, not a rehearsal room, a dressing room that has a door that tends to open on its own and on command.
It's
And
behind stage. It's on the second floor, right
yep,
behind stage.
you go up the stairs and there's a room, and that's where it ends. There's nothing past that room. It's just a room. Um, and Anthony and I were there, and we were both wearing cameras, and he was outside the door and I was inside the door. And sure enough, I said, if you want to open that door, we'll leave. And it went, it just sort of popped open, and there's you saying thank you. But it was good. We got both angles that time. And actually,
Yeah.
Dan gave me some ideas for some more experiments with it, because that door keeps me up at night, Maureen. I'm like, gotta figure it out. It's gotta be something. But No matter what I do, I just can't seem to debunk it, and that frustrates me. But maybe
Mhm.
it's paranormal. It does open. You know, pretty much you say, "Hey, can you open that door?" It'll
And
open.
when I was there too, I did all kinds of tests.
Did you?
Into construction, you do all kinds of tests, banging and moving, and seeing if something's leveled, and why it would open. If you step on one part of the floor, sometimes the
Yes.
floorboards go like a seesaw, and it might pop the door open, or if somebody opens another door, the
Yes.
draft pop. But there was nothing that would have made that door open.
Right.
You know,
It
so that
latches.
that
Yeah,
was
it
real
latches.
something, and we got it videotaped on both sides of the door.
Yep.
I was sat outside, and she was inside, and sure enough, can you open the door? Click,
Yep.
and we're like, thank you
Yeah.
for that.
You said thank you. Yeah.
Lourdes says that you have over an hour of the doorknob.
And then he, for the rest of the night, had his
Oh,
camera
yeah.
on that door, watching it. And you know how you get punchy at the end of the night? We were just laughing at him. Sorry, Anthony. We were just laughing at him with that camera on the door. But no, that door is amazing. And the first time it happened, it was only 3 of us in the theater, and we locked the doors because we don't want someone coming in to the theater, and we're in there investigating. And when it opened, Frankie was laughing because I jumped because I thought it was a person. I thought someone broke into the theater, someone's coming in that door, because you literally heard the doorknob jiggle, and open. And
Yeah.
I thought, uh-oh, someone's broken in. And Frankie made a joke, if Jenny jumps, because I never get scared ever. He's like, if Jenny jumps up, it's scary. But I did, I admit it, I screamed.
The funny thing is, like, how you said that you're very scientific, and it's not like you're.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
You know that if you're scientific, you're not really someone who is more on the metaphysical side of things.
Right.
I'm a psychic medium, but I'm super scientific, which is really weird because I'm constantly trying to debunk things and get to the bottom of it and looking behind things. And I lay in bed at night worrying, like, how did this get in here? Or what was did it have a key? Was there a latch? Was there whatever? Before I go any further than that, I'm never the one that's like, demons, ghosts.
That's fantastic. And why not both? I mean, why not be both? I mean, who says you can't be both?
I think I mean, obviously you can be, because I am.
You are.
But I'm never, I'll hear whatever I hear in my head. I say the voices in my head because it sounds funny, but it is
Right.
the voices in my head. And then if I hear that without seeing something first, then I know that it's definitely something else. But I'm trying to see, like when I was with Anthony and Lourdes and Ron and all of the rest of them, when we went to the Shanley, I would see something and it was just crazy. Like you think you're crazy and you're losing your mind. That can't possibly be happening.
Do you still feel that way every time?
Yeah. I mean, like when I hear something or something happens, or like if a part of my body starts to hurt or goes numb or whatever, and it's like the physical mediumship, I'm like, I can't believe that this happened, or it's crazy that I have this ability, or that they're using me as like a conduit or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so amazing.
I'm jealous. I'm envious. I really am. I mean,
don't be.
I'm envious.
It's not always fun.
I could walk into a room full of, I don't know, and I never know. And I guess that's the good thing is I don't have any fear. But the bad thing is I don't have any fear.
True.
Well, I know when I go into locations and stuff like that, and I do go in, you have some, not fear, but, you feel something like, hey, if something happens, but I don't think I have too many brains in my head, because of every time I hear something, I'm the first to run after it.
Mm.
And
No,
usually
we
by
go.
myself.
I mean, we go.
I go after it. It's like,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, oh, you want? Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, if I hear something, I'm going to go and check it out. Doesn't matter what's going on. You know what I mean? Because there could be two things going on at the same time.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. I mean, we've done it together at the Ritz. We've chased
Yes.
that dragging. We in one of the side hallways, we had this loud
Yes.
dragging noise that we ran after.
Ooh,
And you had the
that-
curtain open, right? Like someone peeking through the curtain.
Yeah, that was wild too. It looked like the curtain was being pulled back, and you could see like a head popping out. And then after a while, I guess everybody, then it was just you and I seen that.
Yes,
And
I was.
everybody came into the theater, and it was
Right.
like, check that, just watch that, watch that. And they're like, it looks like somebody's looking
It
out.
was just
So
Seppi, I think. Yeah, who saw it open as well.
yeah, so we ended up going there and stuff. How about the picture I drew of that? Of I drew a couple more pictures after that too, but the picture I drew of that, I'm sitting there during one of the speeches,
Right.
and you passing by. I'm like, there's somebody right over there.
Yeah.
So I get up and we both checked it out, and then I ended up drawing the picture. And it was somebody. It looked like somebody maybe about 6 foot tall or something,
Oh.
and it was like more of a shadow type of thing
Mhm.
than of a physical, seeing somebody. It was more like a shadow, and he just like went by, stopped, like he looked out, and then continued walking.
That's creepy. It's a little bit creepy.
So that was
And Richard Moschella was there drawing amazing photos as well.
yes.
Yeah, pictures, excuse me, as well. Right. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to come, is basically what I'm saying, Maureen.
I would love to.
You
I
have to
love
get there.
visiting places. I love hearing stories about things. I mean, like, I've loved the paranormal since I was a really small child, and I haven't, like, nothing's changed.
Wow. Wow. I was the opposite, I think. I think most people say, oh, how did you get involved? Oh, I had an experience. I didn't have an experience. That's how I got involved. I got involved because I told everyone else, there's no monster under your bed. There's no demon in your closet. Let me prove it to you. I was more like helping people not be afraid because I guess I didn't have that fear,
Hmm.
sort of comforting people. And then when I was in college, my mother actually got me back into it. So I have to credit her.
Maybe you didn't
She-
want the demons under your bed.
She no. She's pretty no nonsense like me, but she gave me a book by a man named, I'm actually from upstate New York and in Rochester. So she gave me a book by a gentleman named J. Sheldon Fisher, and he was a man who lived up there near Rochester, and he was everything. Back in the 1940s, he was, a plumber and a historian and a firefighter and all these things, and the mayor or whatever he was of this town. And he actually bought a museum called, it wasn't a museum, it was a building called Ballantown. And you may have seen it on Ghost Hunters. They did go there, that type of thing. A couple teams have gone there. He turned it into a museum, a Rochester museum. So he bought it and saved it, similar to what Dan did to Hinsdale. He saved it and turned it into a museum. And he wrote some really great stories about the area. But I was fascinated with the paranormal stories he wrote because he was a historian by trade, really. That's what he was. And I never, now we always say, oh, we look up the history, that type of thing. We want to know the history of a place. But to me, I'd never heard of that. And that just got me hooked. I thought, I can learn the history of all these amazing places that have activity. And in fact, I am the team historian right now. So
That's really interesting.
yeah,
So you were like not even having it, and then your mom all of a sudden was like, "Here's a book."
yeah, she's a
Read
good
it.
reader and everything. But like I said, they were great, cute stories. I think they had fun names like the fish horn alarm and the groaning tree. Like he had great stories, just a really great storyteller back in his day. And yeah, he just got me into the idea of history and the paranormal going together. What a concept! Now we don't even think about it, but back then, the paranormal to me was like just scary movies on TV.
Poltergeist.
Right, exactly. So, it made me think how much I could learn about people and places and that whole side of it. And so I really got hooked.
That's something. I mean,
So-
most people get into it, like you said, because of the experience it had as a kid.
Yeah,
Right.
and
You
usually,
know,
opposite.
or yeah, because I started when I was 13 with my
That's
experiences.
I've noticed
Not
that.
13, I started, I was 3. 13, I had my first full body. By the age of 3, I was hearing things, seeing shadows.
Mm,
my name being called. I mean, all the way up and through the '60s, into the '70s, and then by the age of 13, I see my first full body in a cemetery with a group of my friends, but they didn't see it.
Really?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I grabbed the dowsing rods and my camera and started going there by myself at nighttime. 13
Oh.
years old.
Every
Right.
psychic that I've ever heard or talked to, they all say around 3 or 4
Oh wow.
was when I noticed, and mine was about 3 or 4 also. So that's like the age that
Interesting.
I think people start, but I mean, that's when you remember back to maybe. So I don't know if that's kind of, because I don't think people say, oh, around 1. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like around 1, I remember, being in my crib.
But you don't remember
Yeah,
one.
well, I was being born. I see my first ghost.
Yeah.
Before they slapped me in the ass and made me cry.
My grandma was standing there watching me be born.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
we have some really great people who follow us, and one of them is Ufi, and she always has the most amazing, brilliant questions. Sometimes we don't even
right.
know what
I
they
see.
mean.
Yes.
So why would psychic visions appear only in one eye?
I
Psychic
think, why
vision.
not? I mean, first of all, why not? Maybe that's your psychic eye.
Your third eye.
Well, we have 3.
Right.
Yeah, your third eye. Because I think that's central and in general close to your brain.
Well,
So
your
maybe-
pituitary gland can be calcified, and that's supposed to be like, you're supposed to awaken that by having it be uncalcified,
Oh,
and that's when it
fascinating.
awakens. But and I think that's when we have like a traumatic event, or we have something that pops us open. Uncle Giuseppe, hello.
Hey, Giuseppe.
But if I don't know if she means like literally one eye or the other, but I've never had something in one eye or the other. If it is, maybe there is a tumor. It could be that there is, one eye is more insightful than the other. I've always seen it here or when my
Yeah.
eyes are closed.
When I see anything, it's not here. It's always
It's
right
here.
here. I always get the image. It seems like it's going right here, in the center of my forehead, which it's the third eye. And I mean, you're seeing with the eyes, but it's really maybe it's the I'm seeing there.
Right.
Sometimes you don't see with the vision. You see stuff even with your eyes closed.
Right. And
It comes through.
you had explained it so well at the Ritz when you were there. You said you saw it almost like a fax machine. Like
Yes.
it just, I mean, that is such a great description.
Mhm.
I mean, we can all picture that, right? Like it just kind of comes through like something coming through a fax machine.
Yeah, it's like
For
a
those of us who are
scanner or
that old.
something. It's like
Yeah.
when you scan it, and that's how
Yeah,
why
like
I
a
see
scanner.
things. I see it coming down, as I go all the way down to the feet, from the head to the toe to the feet, and I can tell you what color the eyes are and everything. Sometimes they don't have feet.
Yeah, I saw them where they didn't even have like knees down.
I see them without arms too. I just seen the part, but you see faces. I can tell you the face, and you can see I draw it.
Yes.
So what I see is what I draw, and a lot of times, even when I'm drawing, I know people notice I do close my eyes.
Really? So you're seeing it in your mind's eye and just
Yeah, I'm sketching it and shading it and doing whatever I'm doing to get it going, and yeah, I catch it. I catch it in like my mind
that's-
always just
That
stirred up.
makes sense, because when people ask me how I see it, I'll tell people, like, if you look out your window and you see your front yard, if you close your eyes and it's how you remember it, that's how that you'll get your vision.
Yeah, that's a
And-
great description too.
All good is correct, and he's super talented.
Yes.
It appears where you pick up the energy message depending on the spirit or entity, and everyone receives differently. He can hear and feel where Audra gets snapshots. Sometimes I get snapshots, sometimes I get a movie, sometimes I hear, sometimes I just know, sometimes I just feel it. It depends on the day, the time, where I'm at, who I'm with. And
Wow.
Ufi said our black and white psychic visions of past times common. I
Oh,
think
Yours are in color.
Mine
mine are in
color.
color, but I have seen black and white. So
A lot, or what? When did you see black and white? I'm curious. Sorry.
it was like little flashes, but I don't know
okay.
if they wanted me to see it that way or if it just happened to be that way.
That's true. Like how you're being shown something versus how you see it.
Right. Like maybe they wanted me to see it. Like, you know how ghosts, they show you how they looked at a certain time because that's how they want to look?
I know other people see it. I don't.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, no, it's okay. No, I know what you're talking about.
Like sometimes they don't want to look 70. They want to look 30 because that's how they looked their best. So that's how they show you. So maybe they wanted me to see something in black and white because they want me to understand that, say this was the 20s. So they show it in black and white.
Right.
So that I know that it's in black and white. He said maybe they are snapshots of past events. True.
That could be. I mean, I know at the Ritz, Brandy Wells, she's wonderful medium. She saw a young girl, and it turned out this young girl started there when she was like 13 or 14 and stayed there until she was 80 at this theater, you know. And so, you know, she hit it spot on. She described her perfectly. We brought the picture out and it was exactly what she described. But it's interesting that she would appear as she first started there when she was a young girl at the time. And interestingly,
that's why.
Yeah, definitely. And her name actually was Matilda, and we call her Mitzi. Her nickname was Mitzi. And we got that coming through with Ron and Lourdes. I held up her picture, not saying her name, and I said, "Who's this?" And clear as day, Mitzi.
And Matilda is not a modern name.
Right.
No.
Mildred. I'm sorry, not Matilda. Mildred.
Either is like Mitzi.
Yeah.
Mitzi was more like.
Right. I mean, it was so clear. Mitzi. You know, we all heard it. So.
But I love the name.
That's Staticom. That's amazing.
Staticom. We'll do a commercial for it. Staticom.
I know. I could do a commercial for all.
Gonyak.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gonyak Paranormal. I know.
Gonyak. Where the static talks.
Yeah.
Hey, God, I watched the royalty for that one. Gonyak.
So, special guest Monday. I was there.
There's so many. This is like the craziest thing because we do get comments, but everybody loves to listen to the stories, but everybody wants to talk about this tonight.
Let's do it.
So Uncle Giuseppe says color, black and white, 1 eye, 2, 3 eyes, doesn't matter as long as you see it.
Okay.
Hi, Lady V. And he said, okay, so Uncle Giuseppe says to each his own. Chris says, Ron, never fear what you hear, see, or feel. The spiritual realm cannot hurt us physically.
That was Chris?
Chris.
Yeah, Chris Holden.
Ron's talking about his house. Chris, I had 3 or 4 women do remote views of my house. None of them knew what my house was like. They did not know who or what I was seeing. Yolanda said, I hear sometimes, and I have even seen a little girl at a glance, had me do a double take, and an older lady sitting on her porch. And when I looked again, she was gone. And after I said, I saw you and thank you. Ufi said, for example, black and white of a village square and statue, lots of people walking about, no streets or animals. So that would be like old, right?
Yeah, this is quite a conversation. It's great.
Chris said, we all have the ability to have abilities. I agree. We have to tap into our spiritual portion and release our physical being. True. I think the more you work on it, if you have 2 abilities and you really, really work on those, you can adapt to get more abilities. You can work on that.
You feel like it's like a muscle. Like Anthony M is always telling me, Jenny, I know you're a lot more sensitive than you let on.
You are.
I just say, okay, Anthony.
You do have, I mean, you do have abilities, but I think you repress it. You know, you don't bring it out. You just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go ghost hunting and that's it. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
You don't want, you just want to go the ghost hunting. You don't want all that interaction coming into you. And that's what I feel. But you're a great investigator, so I think you're a great investigator.
Thank
And
you.
I think that does help the abilities too, because if you're a great investigator, you know what you're looking for, you know how to, how spirits operate and what you need to do. So that would help you to kind of work on your abilities as well.
Yeah,
That's true. It's true. Very true. And also, it's what you focus on, right? It's what you
right.
focus on.
You go to investigation. I open myself up not too much because when it comes to like psychics and investigators, sometimes the psychics just go their way and the investigators go the other way because when you put them together, one tries to take over. The psychics seeing everything, and then you got the investigators like saying, okay, yeah, let's. I want that on film, and they're seeing it. You want it on film. You want the hard evidence, and they're giving you psychic evidence, which both they're both good. You know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
as an
You just
investigator,
saved your ass, mister.
who?
Yeah. He just talked
I'm
his way out of
serious.
that, right?
You were trying so hard to like pussyfoot around that.
Right. Right.
No, well, because I do feel like when you go on investigation with a psychic or just they seem to see and you got to follow them the whole investigation.
Right. Like
You
they're
know,
reading
I
it.
see this, I see this, and of course you want to get the hard evidence. But as
Right.
an investigator,
Right.
sometimes I want to go off and see if I get it myself too.
Right.
You know,
Right.
So
I
if you
gotcha.
get so what I like is when the psychic goes in, gets something, not saying anything, and then the investigator goes in and gets something, and then come back prepare.
That's
I think that's the best way to do it instead
right.
of following each other around like puppy dogs all night.
Right.
You know.
Right. No, I understand completely. My
Yeah, look,
for,
she's upset over there. Are you getting upset with me?
no, she's fine. um,
Listen, we can go our separate ways for like an entire night and we'll figure something out.
No. I go with investigate with paranormal. I've been doing this a long time, so I've been
yep.
doing with psychics. I've been doing with demonologists. I've been doing it with, you know, shaman. So many different type of people. You work together.
Right.
You
And
know.
I spent the last before I joined Parasite. It's only almost 2 years old. Parasite. Not. It just feels like. I mean, you said how we are. It feels like we've known each other forever. They're like my two little brothers. Um, but before that, I had been investigating with a partner, Stacy, who's on our team, and she is a sensitive and a
Mhm.
medium, and we called it science and sensitivity, right? So we even had like a hashtag, okay, hashtag science and sensitivity. And when I presented that to Frank, when he was, looking to add to the group, I was like, hey, this is what we do, science and sensitivity. He loved it. He was like, that's great. And we have a way of working together. Like you said, she does her thing, I do my thing, we put it together, and it works. But you
Mhm.
have to, like you said, back and forth a little bit to figure out how to work together.
By the way, Frank is watching. I signed on to Facebook to see who is watching because I'm not getting people's names on StreamYard.
Oh no.
So Matt Klepacki, Tim Cummer, and Frank
Hi,
are
Tim.
watching on
Hi,
Facebook.
Tim. Hi,
Oh,
Frank.
Mac
Hi
Becky.
guys. Sorry we didn't see your names come up on this. And we also have Gonyak Paranormal
Tanya.
listening
guys.
while they're driving. And they said
always
one of the
driving.
best people to find in the field is Jenny. So yeah, I mean, I guess I do agree with you guys that a lot
Thank
of
you.
a lot of mediums are like, and I hear this and I see this and I whatever. But like I said, I'm kind of like you guys where I want evidence, but I kind of keep my mouth shut and I write things down. I have a notebook with me constantly. Um, and I do use everything. Like I have a whole bag of stuff that I bring with me. And I like to make sure that I'm getting what is actually there.
You mean like equipment used to
Yeah,
use?
I have everything. I mean, I have everything, and I am very scientific also. So I want to make sure that what I'm getting is accurate.
Right. How about this? This might be a little a hard, I don't know. Let me try to explain it. We don't like the word evidence. We don't use evidence. In fact, if Anthony M is watching right now, he's probably clapping because he's like, make sure you never say evidence. We like to just call it observations, phenomena,
That's a good word.
that type of thing.
Mhm.
Because really, to me, this is just my personal opinion. Unless I see a being in front of me, like there is a ghost right there in front of me, I don't feel comfortable saying that's a spirit doing that because there's so many other possible causes, right? I mean, you go right to spirit. To me, scientifically, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We do like to use words like observations,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
I guess
because
it is
really
a better,
that's what they
a
are.
better way
Like,
of wording
okay,
it.
the EMF field is high. That's an observation. That's not a ghost, right?
Mhm.
So
Um,
not everybody would agree, but that's how I
No,
feel.
that is actually. I mean,
no,
I guess
I mean that's you're observing what's
Right.
going on, really.
Right.
You know? But when people go into a location and say, "Look at my evidence," and they're showing, I mean, not everywhere you're going to have activity
Right.
going on. And when you go and you get something that you're going to call evidence, you better look into that and debunk it or try to see why that is evidence. If there's light coming in to showing and there's a mist, maybe somebody has smoke going, I mean, I had a person one time goes, "Oh, look, I'm getting this mist." Well, you were smoking cigarettes. You're taking a picture.
Yeah.
Mist,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
so you always try to look what the reason is before you say, "Huh." And we have enough people surrounding us that are good investigators and
Yes.
researchers to say, "What do you think about this?"
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that cooperation. And in
And
fact, people who are on right now, even Tim, I've messaged him. What do you think? I'm looking for somebody who knows about this, and he's helped me. I think we need to reach out to each other. I think it's important.
yeah,
I don't know everything, that's for sure. That's why I follow
I
you
don't know
around,
everything. It
Anthony.
doesn't matter how long you're in it. I
No,
learn
it's
something new
true.
all the time. I learn something new all the time. Doesn't matter how long you're in it. You can
Exactly.
learn something new. And
Exactly.
you have to be open-minded to other people's thoughts. And, some things are like, but you just sit and you listen. And,
Yeah.
you know, then it's like, that does make sense.
Right. It's a
You
person,
know?
and many things are personal experiences, and you can't judge that. That's not for you to judge.
Yeah, and a
Mhm.
lot of people are commenting about that. So Tower Paranormal said diversity of methods, psychic or not psychic, are the best way to solve situations and do great investigations.
Right.
Then we have Yolanda, who said, interesting, I guess. Everyone has a different opinion, but maybe it comes full circle. Ufi says, good point, Jenny. Observations in the scientific sense are data that, for the most part, are both measurable and hopefully reproducible. But the thing
Right.
is, with the paranormal, it's not always reproducible because it's moving constantly and
Right.
you never know if it's going to be around you.
And if
And
it's reproducible, sometimes that can be debunked as being
correct.
something else.
Yeah.
Observations are considered subjective from one individual mind to the next.
Mhm.
And Allgood says unexplainable observation is even more accurate. And Yolanda said, that's why I'm here to listen and learn something. If I could take a nugget from here, you did your job. And I think we all have a different, like you said, we all have a different way of explaining things. Just like you said, it's not necessarily evidence. It's observations. Because this isn't like the normal science. It's parascience,
Right.
so it's
Exactly.
slightly different.
Exactly. Yeah, the E word we call it. But no, I like what Chris said. Just about unexplainable. It's okay to have it be unexplainable.
Yes.
We don't need all the answers right now.
And that's
Yes.
what makes it parascience. Hi, Tin Man.
And that's why I always said if we'll find out all the evidences when we're on the other side.
Well, it's very much like Ron says with
Or
Machiavelli,
maybe
with
not.
Staticon. He's like, we don't know, is that an alien? Is that a spirit? Is that, we don't know.
Well, we've asked it questions when we were
Right.
with it,
Right.
and we've asked what's on the other side. Some of them
Right.
don't answer. Some of them give us weird answers. Some of them
Right.
don't want to answer. So we don't really know, who it is, where they're at, what they're doing, what it's really like. I mean, maybe they don't want to answer. Maybe they can't answer. Maybe they
Right.
were told not to. Like, we don't know.
And that's what fuels your curiosity, right? That's why you keep
Yeah.
going back for more.
And Raul said it's a private club.
Yes.
He says evidence, the word has a rather legal connotation to it and may not be entirely apropos, especially in the circumstances being discussed here. And Lourdes says we don't have all the variables. I agree, Lourdes. You're very smart.
Right. Oh, yeah, she's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And going back to Tower Paranormal, what a good comment. I mean, this isn't that we have all these sayings, right, that we come up with, but we call this paranormal lasagna when you have layers of observations that add on, right? So, for example, at the Hinsdale House, right, this is a good one. We sat down at the table and made pasta because we thought we're going to live here, we're going to act like we're a family, we're going to sit here, and that's the vibe we're going to bring into a place. And we do discuss how are we going to go into a place, what kind of vibe we're going to bring. So we had our kitchen on the table, everything started going off as we're eating our pasta. And then we had the SLS and we had a figure in the chair. We just left that chair empty for the night. Whoever wanted to sit in that pasta with us, that was fine. And then right in my ear, a woman, hi, like right in my ear. So it was just a disembodied voice, right? So that's what we call lasagna, that paranormal lasagna.
Yeah.
So then it starts to get interesting, right? Because it's all adding up.
Or not.
Yeah, and it's
I like that. Lasagna, hey,
it's making me hungry.
nothing better than lasagna.
It turns
No, I
into
know,
like
he's like-
core math sometimes, which no one understands.
No, I know. We have our little.
Well, you're
saying,
right.
but-
It does have levels with certain things.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I mean,
it builds
Sam
up.
Baltrusis was at the Ritz, and he felt that there was a woman who wanted to show us around, an actress, who wanted to show us around. And just as he said that on my recorder, I got this loud EVP that said, "Come, follow me." And it was like, okay, there's another layer, kind of thing. And I talk about the Ritz a lot because I want everybody to come, and you're all welcome. Everybody you're all welcome to come.
Yeah.
Great place.
It's awesome. I've been there
It
many
is.
times already. But yeah, it is an awesome place. It's an awesome team. I mean, all of them. That you guys, you, Frank, Anthony, and they're very friendly and everything else. I mean, I have a good time every time we go, and we always get something.
Yeah.
We always get something.
Oh, that door was so much fun.
Yeah, that door
It
was.
really is.
And the last time we were there, the curtain being pulled back.
It's something
and
new
then-
every time.
And then it was me, you that ran down there.
Yep.
And we heard the dragon. Then we seen something down that hallway.
That was
Shoot
me. Yeah.
across. It was like a girl, and it was really interesting. I mean, there's always
was.
something going on there,
Right.
And I don't think there's anything there it's bad.
No.
I just think there's things there just playful because it is a theater.
I mean, think of the energy in the theater, right?
Yeah,
And it's an active theater. I mean, they're running shows. They're doing Hamlet. And then we go in afterwards. So I mean, think of that. And it's a vaudeville theater. It's from the 1927. It opened. I mean, it's a long time, and there were a lot of iterations as well. At one, we get so much activity from this era in the 70s when it was a adult film theater. And yeah, we go there.
It was?
It was.
It was
And
a
boy,
adult
did we
film
go
theater.
there. And if Frankie's listening now, he's probably laughing because he's like, we got to do it. We got to go there. And
From like the vaudeville time?
no, it started as a vaudeville theater.
Oh,
so they would have,
I was like, wow, that's
they would have
hot.
vaudeville
Mm.
acts and movies like Shirley Temple movies, that type of thing that people would go. This was a big deal back then, theaters. That's all anyone had to do, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's right near Philadelphia. So that was, big city near it. And then it sort of fell into disrepair, and it became an adult film theater. And then in the 80s, a man named Bruce Curlis came and rescued it, turned it into a theater again, a wonderful, thriving theater again for the community. He's incredible. And
Oh my God.
we talk about Bruce all the time when we're there. Anthony may remember that. And we get a lot of response. I feel like they love him. Whoever's there loves him.
It's active theater. Every time we go there,
You know,
they're building
The
sets.
set, exactly.
I'm like,
Because they have not only movies, they have theater,
Yeah,
like
they have
active theater.
they have
Where they
musicals. Yeah,
I'm getting
musicals and
the fact
everything.
that they love him because it started off in the heyday as like a really beautiful
oh yeah,
thing, and then it became something so tawdry, and then he
yes,
made it what it was.
he did.
Mhm.
He did.
And
He made
that's
it the
why
Brits.
they love him so much.
They do, but I will tell you that Bruce is like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But if you interview the rest of the staff, they're like, oh yeah, I see a lady there, or I hear this there, and I was shocked actually by the amount of things that they saw.
Yeah.
How about the girl? You and I, we kept on hearing out the voice of a girl,
Yeah,
and we were following it all over the whole theater, and we couldn't catch up to wherever it was. It was like we hear it behind the door. We go behind the door. Then you hear it down by the stage. We go down by the stage, and we just like followed it around.
right.
It was a kid's voice. It was a young girl's voice. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, they got a drawing of a girl on stage now. I've
Oh.
seen it one time. Yeah,
Okay. Well, what I love about it is that we
but
bring
she had no
people
shoes
in.
on too.
Yeah. I mean, people like Anthony, we bring guests in and they all add to the story, right? They all
Mhm.
add something, which is so nice. So when you come, Maureen, you're going to add to that story of the Ritz.
I love that.
You'd be part of the history.
It is when I talk to people and I tell, like, when they start asking me questions about what I do, and why do I feel that there are spirits, or how can it possibly be the case, and I start to explain to them the very sciencey part of it, and I say, when you were in 7th grade and you were learning about science, they say that there was a desk here. Desk has matter. When you move a desk, matter's left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So when you meet me and I have this crazy big personality, if I die and I leave this place, what's going to be left behind? There's going to be matter, and it's a hell of a lot more than what the desk had. Like,
Oh, right.
definitely
Yeah,
going to be
person.
something here. So there's definitely something there.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's theater. How was the Betsy Ross house? You said you guys did that. How that was awesome, wasn't
It was shocking to me
Really?
because I
Sure.
did not have. I had expectations of it being very much like it is very much like a museum. You can't really go into the rooms. They kindly let us in, which is nice. That's very nice. So we did get to go into the bedrooms and stuff one at a time. It's all fragile, but I didn't have high expectations of it. And in fact, it was quiet for a while. And it was almost like thinking it, looking back now, it was almost like we hit a certain hour and it was bedtime. In fact, we had a loud as anything EVP saying, go to bed.
it? Wow.
First time I've ever been told to go to bed by a spirit. I'm going to go to bed. But the same voice that said, get out of my house, now leave. And who we think, if we had to guess who's talking, it would be a woman named Hannah Lithgow who owned the house and rented it to Betsy Ross. But again, going back to my original thing, how I got involved. I mean, think about every day Betsy Ross getting up in her bedroom, going down one floor, working on that. She did upholstery. She wasn't a seamstress. A lot of people think she was, but she did upholstery, but working on that flag. And frankly, at any moment, she could have gotten arrested, executed for making that flag. And I thought, well, that's badass. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, you go, girl. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I love that, thinking of her walking down those stairs. And that's why I love the history of it. But yeah, I think what happened is Anthony was upstairs in Mrs. Lithgow's room. And I don't think she liked that very much after hours. I think it was, they're not used to having investigators there late. And she was like, who are you people in my house at 11 o'clock at night or, midnight, get out.
Mhm.
The weird thing is, if you'd ever seen the flag itself that she made,
Yeah.
it is freaking gigantic.
It's huge. Yeah.
And
they
like,
have a replica there. It's massive.
but
Right.
this actual flag is humongous. I mean, to
Yeah.
keep working on this every single that's like patriotic.
Yeah, at
That
any
is
moment she
super
could have been
patriotic.
found, been found out.
Mhm.
I mean, and she had 3 husbands, and I mean, what a fact. And she's actually buried there in sort of a tomb, but not originally. They moved her there with her husband. So yeah, I mean, fascinating lady, but I just, I'm not sensitive, but I walked in and it just felt like a school trip,
Yeah.
walking
Mhm.
around. And then when we played it back live, that long session of EVPs, and it was sentence after sentence. And Anthony and just looked at me like, holy crap, what
Mhm.
is going on here, kind of thing. Fascinating. And there were voices upstairs we could hear, and then I got them on the recorder. It was like, I see you there. We heard, I see you there. That type of thing. I've never had so many voices anywhere I've ever been.
So was it like what was being said? Was it kind of like paranoia? Was it a lot of just like quiet? I mean,
It was obviously when it was stern. Like we said, is anyone still cooking? No. That's when it was go to bed. No, go to bed. No more food. Go to bed. I mean, they were sort of scolding us, which is funny, but at
So
the
it's like
time
a
it was late.
motherly type
Yeah,
of
yeah, it was a woman,
spirit.
so
Say, okay,
right,
go
right,
to bed, kids.
right, exactly. And we also got some wild laughing, a man laughing, and it was all women on the second and third floors, and this man was just laughing. I don't know. Supposedly Ben Franklin spent a lot of time there,
well, there's the laughter.
but and maybe he was definitely known as a womanizer, so maybe he was like, hey, this is good.
And they did drink a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That place shocked me. It really did. It really did. But we're going to Trans Allegheny, and
Oh,
you've been there,
Oh.
and
I
I would
love
love to
that.
hear your impressions of it. Besides the fact that it's bigger than a state.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The Chris
how do you
Olga,
approach
I went
that?
there with
It's
them. Huh?
I'm sorry. How do you approach something like that, Anthony? I mean, like, it's so big.
Well, when you first go in, when you go to a place like that, I mean, you always seem to bring too much equipment
Yeah.
because you don't know how to really what to bring because you don't know how the night's going to go.
Right.
Because sometimes some equipment works better than other equipment at certain locations. You know,
Yep.
you
We call
know.
it pivot. See, we have a word for that too. We have all our little cute words.
Yeah.
Pivot. Frankie
But
says pivot.
it's when you go in there, um, go in a small group. Don't go like a whole group. Small
It's
group
me
of
and
people,
Frankie. Me
three.
and Frankie. That's it.
You and Frankie, fine. You know what I mean? Just go in a small group and go. You guys got the whole place, or you going on the tour?
We are just other people will be there, but it's so big.
It is big, but
Yeah.
try to get away from
We
everybody.
don't have the whole place. No.
Yeah, but I mean, on certain locations, like because the hallways are huge. You get to the center, and you're looking down, and the hallway down on the end is like a small door, and on both ends, it's huge. The place,
Wow.
you know.
Have you been there,
So
Maureen?
No, I haven't.
But
That's
have you
one of the
been to
places I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, me
yeah,
too. It's kind of like a bucket list for Frankie, and so it's cute. We're going for his birthday. But
that's
have you been to a large like asylum before? Like, how did
Yeah.
you tackle that? How did you tackle that?
I was not there for that reason, but I think that maybe if it were me doing this, I might bring in another group.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to convince Tim to come if he's still around.
Tim, are you there?
Tim, come to Trans Allegheny with
it's
us.
also location. When you go in there, it's like you just have to know where everybody is. It's a pitch black place. I mean, it's really dark. I mean,
Don't
when I
get
was in
lost.
there, all I had was my night vision
Oh,
on, and that's all I could see out of the 2-inch LED screen.
yeah, it's tiny.
So if somebody's in the room with you, you're not going to see them.
Oh.
That's how black it is. And
Yeah,
I
we wear
walk down
body
the
cameras.
hallways. I actually have put my arm on against the wall so I can see I'm walking straight down the hallway because I mean you could
That's
get lost
creepy.
back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I'm
Anthony
really
has
looking
those body
forward to it.
cams.
the
We
body
we
cam.
do
You
wear.
got body cam too, don't you? You got a body
Yep.
cam too.
We all wear body cams, and let me tell you, I love my body cam so much, and I turn it on when I get out of the car, and I turn it off when I get back in the car.
Hmm.
Because sure enough, we were at Mid Orange Reformatory, right in New York, and sure enough, walking out, something happened, right? So it's like, ooh. Oh, what's Chris saying?
The
Yeah.
walk through
The
the
walk-
walk through for the investigation took over 2 hours prior to setting
Wow.
equipment.
Wow. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's an all night thing. I think you start at what, like 5 in the afternoon or something, and go until 4 in the morning, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Raul wants to know if it's bigger than Penhurst.
Isn't it?
They're the same size, aren't they?
Well, Penhurst has a bunch of buildings
Lots
that
of
you go in.
buildings.
Trinidad Gate does have 13 buildings, but you only are going to probably the main building,
Right.
okay? The one building, and that one building, yes, it's bigger than Penhurst.
Bigger than
That one building,
any building at Penhurst.
yeah, yeah. It's bigger than any one building at Penhurst. That one building.
Right. They're not huge, the Penhurst buildings. They're not massive,
Hmm. Yeah.
each one, but they're just a lot.
Penhurst has more buildings on a big piece of property. This is a big piece of property too. It has other buildings, but you still got the
Right.
main building where you're going to go in and, I mean, make sure you have nice, comfortable shoes.
Good advice. I love it.
There's up and down the stairs. The stairs are not that bad because they're not steep. They're like,
Yeah, like school stairs, those flat
yeah,
ones.
pretty much like school stairs. Yeah.
Right, right.
So it's not bad, and the staircases are wide.
It'll
But if you're going to bring equipment, bring a backpack. If you're going to bring equipment with you, or get yourself like what I have, one of those vests, and you
Yep.
put the equipment in there.
I have one, yeah.
So you're going to, because it's going to be a long walk and a lot.
Chris is saying the main building is 20,000 square feet.
200,000.
200,000. I'm
200,000
sorry, I'm
square
getting old. I can't see.
Holy
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of walking.
Well,
Yeah. So
I mean, definitely bring a walkie too. I mean, by Loose
also, what
I
you
don't want
do
to be
too,
like lost.
bring
in
extra
there.
batteries.
And
If
he
you
said
have
more
anything,
stories.
bring batteries with you
Okay,
too, because
okay.
if something goes dead, you don't want to walk all the way back to get a battery. Bring extra batteries with you because it is a long walk.
I always
And
have extra
you gotta
batteries.
explore.
I'm like the team mom as well.
Yeah.
I need a
Somebody
Band-Aid
has
in
to
my
be.
pocket. Yeah, exactly. I always have, like, oh, you need a drink? I brought water. I brought Band-Aids. I brought everything that you could possibly need.
That's me. I have everything in my purse, everything in my bags, everything.
course.
Like, you need
Yeah.
a bobby pin to like break into someplace.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's not for
Yeah.
hair.
No.
The
Definitely
place is wild. There's so many locations there that had so much, and you're gonna definitely have a good time. And
not. Yeah. I mean, where did you go, Maureen? When you said you had been to was it like Rolling Hills or Waverly Hills or?
Well, we went up we were trying to get into like Danvers, but that's now an apartment place.
Okay.
So we had also been to Eastern State Pen. They don't allow anything anymore,
No.
but we did look
Yeah.
through and I was taking pictures. I've gotten pictures of something in every place I've ever been.
I think Eastern State, they do those self-guided tours. So basically, Stacy and I just said, okay, we're going backwards. You guys
That's what I did.
We're going this way.
Mhm.
And we just went in with our recorders and cameras and everything.
Yeah. So I have prison guards. I have a man with a top hat, which I think is probably the warden.
I enjoyed that place.
Yeah. I did the jail in Jim Thorpe, which is really cool with the hand.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because I've always investigated on my own. I've never had a team.
Right, right.
Like, so
Right.
it's just kind of like get what you can where you're able to.
No,
but-
I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I never did like big ones.
Okay. I mean, we're also going to Crescent. I think the Clarks are coming with us, Steve and Naomi Clark, to Crescent. And we love that. We just like, we like to do collaborations, like with Full Moon. We call it Paramoon when we do it together. With
Yeah, Full Moon.
Yeah.
So that would be a great idea then if you were to like grab another team to work with you because you've already kind of done that.
They're
and-
all, I mean,
They got full moon. I mean,
yeah, like Full Moon. Lisa's definitely coming to Fort William Henry in September. We're going. So much planned. It's like I should know. So yeah, we're going to Crescent, which is also massive. Frankie's been there. If anyone's been there, I want to know how it is.
He said Crescent's amazing.
Crescent's amazing.
Yeah.
I
I've never been
found
there.
Rolling Hills to be probably the only place I actually felt a little bit like this is pretty. This
Creepy.
is like Destination Fear scary. Yeah, a little bit.
Rolling Hills.
Rolling. Yeah.
I've never been there neither. I've been to West Virginia Penitentiary.
That's right. Is that the place that has, what do they call it? That nickname? There's like a room that has a funny nickname. You guys all know what I'm
Oh,
talking
the
about.
Sugar Shack.
The Sugar
Oh,
Shack.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
The
Couldn't think
Sugar
of it.
Shack. That's crazy.
Is that West Virginia Penitentiary? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We
That's
did.
Madison,
crazy down
Moundsville.
there.
Right.
We did
I
Fort
mean,
Zachary
so
Taylor.
much stuff goes on down there. There's so much
Yeah.
bad stuff that happened down there,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
we got so much evidence down there.
Right.
Things talking, people talking to us, and everything. It was wild.
Wow.
West Virginia. I've been there twice.
Okay.
That's good. That's a good
I
Somebody
place.
think we
said they were
wanted to do
touched.
both.
Huh?
Really?
Somebody said that they were touched at Rolling Hills. I don't know who that was though.
Rolling Hills, yeah. It was Frankie, maybe. Frankie was just recently there filming.
It might have been him, but
It was his acting debut.
oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
He plays Nick. Yeah.
Nick.
It's not a secret. He plays Nick Groff. In a not a flashback. It's a
in a reenactment.
reenactment.
Yeah.
I was just working with Nick and Dan too.
Nice.
It was fun.
Yeah, definitely. We are also, I said we were together for 2 years almost. We always like celebrate our anniversary, right? So we're gonna go back to the 1890s house in Cortland, New York. Has anybody ever been there but us?
No.
No, we went last year. And everyone's invited this time for our celebration of our 2-year anniversary. It's in October. Now that was Full Moon came with us last time. Now that was a shocker too. We were like, what is this place? It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, huge place. And we're going to be the first team to stay overnight. So that's exciting. Right?
I think Frankie threw me a message on that.
Yeah.
Everybody in the comments section's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1890s. It's called 1890s House. It was really, really cool.
And where's that?
It's in October.
No, where location?
Cortland, New York.
Cortland. Okay.
Right. Yeah, by like Cornell and Ithaca,
Yeah,
that
I remember
way.
seeing the thing. I
Near
was
the
like,
Finger
look at the
Lakes.
dates.
Yeah.
Because
I recommend
it's in
that.
October, so we got to figure out certain dates and everything. Because I think I'm not sure. I got to check. Because I got the Sleepy Hollow, Paracon, the Mass Paracon. You know.
Mass Paracon is at the end of September, correct? Like the 29th or something like that.
Yeah, the end and beginning of October, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on too. So
Right.
I got to see if I can fit that in. Yeah.
I mean, we got a busy year. The rest of the year, we have the Shanley in 2 weeks. Next week, Brandy is having another event where I believe Frankie and Anthony are going to be at Wilson Castle. So that's exciting. We have a lot going on.
Nice. You got to let it go. I mean, it's better being busy with this. If you really enjoy it, go out and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're still relatively new, but we've done a lot.
Yeah, you have. I see some of the stuff you guys post and everything on Facebook. Frank, with the Parasite Facebook page and everything. So I check that out too. So
Yeah, we try to share things as much as we can. So yeah, if anybody wants to hear those Betsy Ross EVPs, they are on our TikTok. They are on our.
You going to the bash? Gettysburg Bash?
I'm not going, but I know a lot of people here are going. That were just
Yeah, a lot of people going. We're going. We'll be there.
right.
And
We have the Shanley. I believe, when is that? Is it the 14th, 15th? Correct?
Yeah.
14th,
Shanley
15th.
that weekend.
You got Shannon that weekend?
Yeah. I'm really.
We should really get there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've been to Gettysburg, but not the Gettysburg.
They're done the bash. I mean,
just about the
matter of fact,
timing
we're
didn't work out.
going to be up there Thursday night, and we're going to go live, and we got Full Moon Paranormal as our guest
I know.
live
Lisa
from
told me that she was going.
Gettysburg.
See, but I mean, we had the Shanley, and it was like, what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, how many times it happens? You know, you have an investigation, and then it's like
Right.
something else pops up. You're like, oh, come on.
I know. You can't do it all. Can't do it
No,
all.
you know, I mean, and then, you know what is? We're amongst a good group of people that when we got something, we share amongst each other.
It's
Yes.
so much fun.
You know? and you guys took me in with
Yes,
open arms. I mean, that was great. I felt so great. I mean, throw me on a VIP. I'm like, hey, I'm a VIP now.
you are
Oh,
a
yeah.
VIP. You are a VIP, absolutely. In fact, you may have seen coming soon. We are planning another event in November. We're calling it Para Summit because we have all these Paracons, but the VIP night was not a Paracon. It was more like I said, we're putting our heads together. We're sharing,
Hmm.
sharing ideas and sharing theories and experiments and things like that. And you don't get a chance to do that very much. Um,
No.
Daryl Marston, lovely man, was at the Ritz recently, and he said to me, "Yeah, I don't get a chance to do that often. I'm sure he has a lot of events, and his book is coming out, right? The House of Wills, and he's like, this is just great, learning about what Ron and Lourdes do, that type of thing. He's like, no, this is really a great forum, to exchange ideas, and so that's what we're going to be doing again in November. Little sneak
Yeah.
peek there.
Meeting of the minds.
Yep. Yeah, you guys might be invited. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
Of course.
It's a,
Of course. No, you
well,
have to. I mean,
if
like
there's
that's
any
how we.
cancellations, you'll be invited. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you have to push the field forward that way, right?
Hmm.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's like sitting in the dark, like the people who don't get it say, you're just sitting in the dark and talking, and you're like, you don't get it.
Hmm.
We've
I
all
love
heard that,
to meet
right?
new people and listen to their stories and, hear about how they handle things or what their, like how someone just asked the question, what's the scariest place you've ever been to and why? And, what makes it scary? And is it because it's the unknown or, you're sitting with that energy around you or,
Right.
what is it? What drives you?
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, and look at like Staticom is a great example, right? Like something new that they're exploring. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
You have to
And
keep that up. Definitely. In fact,
it's great to
here's
be
a.
part of it too. Being,
Oh yeah.
you know, when they do it, it's like, wow, this is like history coming for the paranormal, pretty much coming alive for us. It's like,
Yeah.
one day we're gonna be
Exactly.
in our rocking chairs. We're like, yeah, I remember those two.
He's gonna be like
I remember
his
them.
rocking
Remember
chair
those
going.
two with the doorknob?
I remember those two. Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be feeling
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, I always talk about the guys, right? Because I just respect them so much and I love them so much. They're like my family. Um, Frankie is doing some really cutting edge experiments in his field. He works in life with people with a lot of trauma,
Hmm.
with therapy and with people, in prison, people with a lot of trauma. And he said, what would it be like to work with spirit, on their trauma type of thing? And could we really be like a therapist to spirit,
Yeah.
type of thing? And well, that's a fascinating idea, in my opinion. And, and we did a little bit of that with you there, I believe, Anthony, on one night. And it's incredible, the response that we got, what's the last thing you remember? And we got words like pain, things like that. It was very sad, but at the same time, he's not doing it to be sad or to hurt people. He was doing it to heal people,
To like
and he
ease
was
that.
right, like he does in life. He's trying to heal spirit in death, which I think is really cutting edge.
It
I haven't
is.
seen anyone do that. So he uses techniques he uses with veterans and things like that, who have PTSD. People
Like
with
the
PTSD.
EMDR and
Yep, he uses it. Yeah, that thing, that the light going back and forth. Yeah,
yeah,
he brings that.
that's
Um,
really
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
That's
it's
great that he has that, empathy for them because a lot of people feel that, oh, they're just ghosts. And I don't even really
right,
like that word anymore. It's like more spirit because they're still human beings. They're just out of their, I use the word meat suit, like
right,
they're still people. So
right.
why are you, screaming at them to like come out, come out?
Do something.
Yeah,
Exactly.
come on, entertain me,
Right.
tap dance. It's not like
Yeah.
that. It's
No.
they're still they're just out of body. They're but they still have a soul. They still have a spirit. They still have feelings. They still have emotions. They're still hurting. They're still in pain. They're still, I mean, they're screaming, for God's sakes, when they're, doing EVPs. They're still crying out. They're still looking for something.
How many times have you gotten the EVP, help me?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Not just EVPs, but like, here, help me,
Help me.
save me.
Mm-hmm.
Come find me.
Right.
Mommy. The
That's
kids are
hard.
the worst.
It's hard. That's very hard. Very,
And when
very
you get
hard.
those EVPs, it's like, how can we help you? And it's like, I mean, it's how can we help you? And it's nothing we can actually do to help.
Right.
Not only that, but sometimes like they can't even put it together to tell you what they're looking for. And because we're on different sides of, dimensions, they don't even know how to let you know what to do, and we don't know how to figure it out.
Right.
And it's really difficult. And as Yolanda said, being an empath, I would probably just cry. There are times that I just go sit on stairs someplace and just bawl my eyes out, or I leave a place and I'm just drained mentally, physically, emotionally, and just done. I've slept for 2 days after we went to the Shanley. Straight.
It's going to
Chris
be my
goes,
first time.
are they really kids? You see what Chris goes?
We don't know that, Chris. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably just
Sometimes they could be a
emotions.
spirit that's trying to bring you in, and they act like something that you're not going to be afraid of a little girl. You're not going to be afraid of a child.
Right.
But if they come to you as a big spirit or man or whatever they might be.
Well, that's the thing. The kids are what scare me the most.
Be afraid. So they come to you as something you're not going to be afraid of.
What scares you more when you watch a horror movie? Is it that you see like an old woman sitting in a chair, or
that little girl in the
that
well?
freaks me out so bad,
Yeah.
No,
Little girl climbing out of a well.
Oh, she's so
or even just the sound of kids laughing. That just gets you right to the core. They shouldn't be there. Their parents should have taken them. They should have found them.
It's true.
Yeah.
We investigated a place called the 76 House, and you guys can correct me because I don't know how to pronounce it. It's in New York. Is it Tappan?
Tappan Z Bridge.
Tappan. We felt like we were communicating with a young boy, and Stacy was really emotional, and at that point I was really kind of glad that I didn't have that sensitivity that she had, because that's a lot to carry. I don't know how you do it sometimes, you guys.
It's a lot.
Both of you.
Fun. You brought that up. Next weekend, I'm checking out a location that's I'm not going to say where, but it's near the 76. A location that
really?
It's a big building that they're. I'm going to check out and see if we can get people to go in there.
Near it. But
near
near there. Tell
It's
me
near
later.
the
No, I'm
76.
kidding.
Huh?
Tell me later.
So I'm gonna go there and see what it's about first before we make any decisions and they make any decisions. So, and plus, some of the building it was abandoned for almost 15 years.
Oh wow.
So there's some issues also with the building. So I'm gonna check that out. So see what happens. Maybe we might be the first ones in there. That'd be great.
If he keeps talking, we're gonna figure it out, Maureen.
No, I don't know.
No, I'm joking.
We'll be waiting for you, Anthony, on the front porch.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I gotcha. No, I mean, new places are great. Like I said, I mean, even 76 House. I don't know anyone who's been there.
No.
I don't know anybody that's been there either.
Yeah, and the best part is we get to eat dinner there first because it's a working restaurant. So we get this wonderful dinner, and then everybody leaves, and it's like night at the museum, right?
Mm-hmm. But we were. I mean, years ago, I was looking into that place, and the owner was
Robert.
against. It was a guy named Anthony.
Oh,
I remember that name. I remember that name very well.
Imagine that.
And he was against, a lot of that stuff. That he didn't want nobody coming in.
Really?
And, yeah.
Oh no, this guy loves it. But the
So-
problem is he loves it a little too much.
Oh.
Sorry. Hopefully he's not watching. He's got a lot to tell, a lot of stories to tell, and that's exciting. But if you have to wait for the dinner crowd to go, it gets late. It gets late.
I just looked it up. It's a really cool place.
It is a very cool place. A very,
I
very cool place.
want to go check that out. Well, maybe we can make some kind of deal.
Maybe
I
you could buy
enjoy
me
those
dinner.
Places like we went to the Gabriel Davis Tavern in southern New Jersey. It's another Revolutionary War type era place, and I like those places. Those are
I do too.
Yeah.
I like the history behind it, and
yeah,
because you that's a lot of what you've actually learned in school. Like they really
Right.
pounded the Revolutionary War into your brain,
right.
and you can kind of picture everything that way, so you
Sure.
know the background. Chris says, "Come to North Carolina to the Montgomery House." I'm
I
like,
know.
"What about
I
that?"
hear about that on Monday nights, the Montgomery House, and I'm like, I gotta get there.
I would love to get there.
Is
Yeah,
that
we're
an
gonna-
invitation, Chris? Because you might be
It's
surprised. We're gonna take you up on it.
It's
I
beautiful.
mean, he's serious too.
He
You
is.
guys want to go? Just let him know.
Then we
We'll
should go.
work something out.
We'll go.
And
We'll go.
I
I'm in.
would love to go. You know,
Has anyone ever investigated Deadwood, South Dakota? I'm absolutely like 90% sure that Zach Baggins was there.
Oh, Deadwood.
I would love go to Deadwood.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive because he loves that.
My brother, matter of fact, yes, my brother's been there.
Really.
My brother's been there, and I think it was like his birthday gift. His wife took him there, and it was he got some activity. Then he was going in just like on regular tours and stuff, and
Yeah.
he brought his equipment with him. So one of the tour guides seen him with the equipment. She goes, "You into ghosts?" He goes, "Yeah, that's yeah." He starts. My brother, he could talk. He could talk.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. He could talk. He could sell you ice in the winter.
Oh my
You
God.
know?
I
Yeah,
got the
he's like
picture.
one of those. But he could talk and everything. But he talked to the person, and she goes, "Come with me." And they took him down the basement where nobody was. It was like wasn't even part of the
Oh,
tour.
nice.
And they took him down there. He did a little investigation down there. He was getting EVPs and stuff like that.
Don't you love
Down
that?
the basement, you know, because
That's cool.
yeah. So he's been wanting to go back there too, which I would love to go there. I would
Oh
love.
yeah. I mean, what's your favorite type of investigation? I mean, a prison, a hotel,
My favorite type. I like going to big places like the Trans Allegheny, Penhurst, and the West Virginia place and stuff.
Mhm.
I like those big places that had a lot of emotions going on there and a lot of tragedy and stuff
Sure.
like that. Not so much just because that's what happened, because you go in there and you try to contact with these spirits that haven't spoke or just want their voice heard.
Right.
They're ignored in life. Maybe they want to be heard. Maybe you know maybe help them cross over, whatever. Or maybe you just put them in the right direction,
Yeah.
pretty much. But just to give them some kind of way to
Acknowledgement. Yeah.
acknowledgement that they were
Right.
here. Because
Right.
a lot of these places are sad. It
Is
turns
that
out,
hard?
yeah.
Yeah. Is that hard though?
Huh?
I mean, is that hard for someone like you or Maureen, especially? Like, I mean, is that hard for you?
All of it.
How do you prepare yourself for that?
Tell you the truth, I don't prepare.
Okay.
I just go in and I welcome things. You know what I mean? I've been
Right.
scratched, pushed, bitten, burned, and I've been to these places and I welcome, not to hurt me, but sometimes they scratch you, burn you, and all that stuff, just to acknowledge that they're there. Not to hurt you, but just to say,
Right.
I am here. This I'm going to contact, get my thing too. So I welcome it to an extent because I had things try to get in me,
And you're like, no.
and
Yeah, stop-
get to a
stop
point
right
like, okay, you guys shut that down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got
wow.
to. I mean, these locations. I like the big locations. just for maybe, let them say their words, what happened,
Sure.
what they went through,
Oh yeah, yeah. Or the battlefields like that. I'm looking forward to Fort William Henry. I've been there so many times, just not to investigate.
Yeah, I never been there.
That's where they
It's funny
filmed
because
last.
I'm here in New York. I don't go to anywhere in New York. It's like,
Yeah, right. You live in New York, but you don't go to New York. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Well, it's gonna be nice though. I think we're gonna camp and things like that up there in Lake George.
yeah, that's supposed to be nice. Fort Henry's supposed
It
to
is
be really
nice.
nice. I had a cousin that did reenactments,
Yes.
and he said that he was up there and they seen at nighttime because they stayed right there on the in the fort,
Yeah.
and they seen people walking
Oh wow.
on the top, they were calling like sentries or something like that. They were like
Right.
walking back and forth on the top of the where one of the walls
Wow.
where
Like doing rounds. Of course, my
yeah,
cat. Right. The Zoom thing. Right.
and, say hello to your kitty.
I know.
And look,
But you know what's funny? My cat's name is Frankie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
so,
It's awkward.
so Fort Henry, I
Awkward.
mean, that's one place that's really has activity. Like I said, he's seen that they would stay there all night, and they seen men walking in areas that were locked that they weren't supposed to go in. No, they see people walking there, and then they go in that area, and it's like you can't get into that area because the doors are all
Wow.
locked to get into that area. So
That's pretty cool though.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Maureen. I think I cut you off. You were saying, how do you prepare yourself for like an asylum?
I do ground and protect myself, but I think that it doesn't really matter because whatever comes.
Okay.
And
I agree with you.
I think,
Paracat.
like Chris said,
Fair.
you can't prepare being sensitive. You just have to deal with whatever it is that comes for you. Like when we were at the Shanley, something ran at me and I kind of just
Oh boy.
stopped it, and then it said it was coming for me later. It didn't, but all night long I heard doorknobs come like being jiggled all the way down the hall to my door and nothing. But I've never been scratched, pushed, you know, poked, nothing. I've never had anything touch me.
And Anthony,
Ever.
you get that? You've had all of that.
Yeah, I had all. Matter of fact, at Shanley the one time, in the Bordello
Now I
area,
can't wait to get there.
it felt like somebody putting cigarettes out on my leg
Oh my
in the
gosh.
Bordello. Yeah, and
And
it's weird. I pulled up my
room I
pants.
stayed in was
And
the
my-
room that he had something happen to him. So I thought, and it was the same thing that was coming for me is what did this to him.
Like I'm
Yeah.
coming for you, but I'm gonna get you instead.
But if this happened to him, like,
Yeah, that happened a while back. You're talking about with I was up in the where Joe's chair is on the third floor.
Uh-huh.
The hitman's chair.
Yep.
And I went in there, and they said that he doesn't like you touching the chair. So I'm going over there, and I have a EMF meter, and I'm going, okay, I'm seeing, and it was going off, and then I touched the chair, all of a sudden I felt something grab my neck, push me up against the wall. And it was like that. And everybody was in the room like, what the hell is going on? Because I had the meters in my hand. So it threw me up against the wall. I'm like, ugh. And I just went like, that's all you got. That's all you got. And it stopped.
And it let go.
Let go. But as that was going on, everybody's
That's
meters were
tempting
going
fate,
off.
though, a little bit.
Yeah, everybody's meters was going off. When I said,
Wow.
that's all you got, and stopped, everybody's
See?
meter went dead. So
Paranormal is
at
on
that
you. You
point,
got it.
nothing was going on. So I said, okay, I'll leave. As I got up to the stairs to go downstairs, everybody's meters started going off again. Their
It's
RAM
funny it went
card.
after you though. Like I mean, I would think like you would be more vulnerable. You know what I mean? Maureen, like, and it goes after him.
well, weird things have happened to me. So, like I've been in 3 different locations where this very tall,
Yes, they do leave
Black.
you. I'm sorry. Yolanda, yes, they do leave bruises and scratches.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It did.
Really?
This tall black figure in a cloak with red eyes has walked like kind of, I don't know, maybe like 50 feet away from me, walked, turned, looked at me, waited to see what my response was. I just kind of looked at it
Okay.
and then just kept doing my thing, and then it just kept walking, kind of like, am I gonna steal your power from you? And I'm like,
Right.
you've got nothing on me.
How tall?
About 13 feet.
That's like right out of the Dead Files. And jeez, like there's.
It's funny that you should say that, because all good Dead Files and Ghost Adventures were in Deadwood. So,
Oh yeah, that's so funny. See, okay, I am a psychic. No,
yeah, but that's happened 3 times to me with that same figure.
Wow.
So I
That's
think it's
strange.
just kind of like how much do you have? How much are you going to like give up?
I wonder if that's just. I mean, this might be out there, but I wonder if that's not associated with any location. It's more
It's not.
an embodiment of something that tests you.
It's a test. It's a test to see
Right.
how strong are you.
Right. And it could look like a tall shadow. It could look like a small. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
But
That's just
other
the form
people
it takes.
saw it. Other people were with me when it was
Oh,
there.
they saw it too. The same
They
way.
saw it and they said, "Oh my God, we've only had this in our house 2 other times, and one time a very well-known medium was there
Uh-huh.
for dinner.
Okay.
Another time it was in someone else's home, and they said it scared the crap out of them,
Oh.
but it wasn't looking at them. And another time it was in my own house,
Oh.
and my mother came to visit from the other side at the same night.
She was like, "Get away from her." No.
She
I
came
mean, like
afterwards.
it's some kind of manifestation.
It's a very dark entity, but it's like I'm not afraid when I see it. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, because it's not. It's dark, but it's not dark. Does that make sense? Like it's more of a test, like you said.
It's a test. It's a test to see if I'm going to give in, and I'm like, this is not enough for me. This is
that fascinates me. The whole concept of like we have teenagers who, create these beings, right? Like this activity, like plates flying around, just because they're having a hard time, and they're in high school, which is hard for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
fascinating.
teenagers are scarier.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people say the living are scarier, right?
Yeah.
No, but that whole thing really fascinates me. Like the whole idea of, I'm in a bad mood and the light bulb is, flickering.
Well, I was capable of doing like I'm an energy worker and an energy mover, and when I get really, really angry, I can blow light bulbs depending on how the anger level.
Right.
And I've been able to do that since I was a kid.
Wow.
But the thing that really did scare me,
That's why she started working with electrician. Me.
That's why.
That's why she has a fund as an electrician. She blows up the electricity. I have to fix it.
yeah. And
That's
Not
handy.
security.
but it was weird because as a kid I would go under traffic lights with my parents and the lights would go out as we'd go over, like, and
Oh,
I thought that was
wow.
normal. I thought that was like when a car would go under it, it would just go out because you didn't need the light anymore.
That's amazing.
So it was kind of weird. But the one thing that did scare me, and I really probably shouldn't even admit this, is when we were at the Shanley, when Anthony told me that story,
Right.
after I kind of put my hand out and that
Yeah.
thing came running at me and said that, I thought this thing's going to choke me in my sleep. And I'm not going to be able to get it off of me. And it didn't bother me. I heard the door jiggles, and then I heard ding, ding, and it sounded like an elevator hitting each floor, but the Shanley doesn't have an elevator. It was the front door every time. So I was up really late, and I was thinking if I stay up late enough, I can fend off this thing because I have the ability to stop energy. And I fell asleep sitting up in my classes.
Jeez.
Yeah, the family has that when you enter, has that sensor, the ding to let people know there's somebody's coming in.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah,
like a
so that
store.
went off
Right.
You know
all
what
night
I'm talking
long.
about.
Like a department store does sometimes.
Yeah,
You walk in a little boutique or something.
it went off all night.
What do you guys do with dreams? Like, do you dream about
Yes.
cases?
Not
I mean,
about
we-
cases.
I actually
I don't
never,
sleep. So I can't dream.
Yeah, no.
He's
I
not
don't sleep.
I never had dreams related to investigations until Hinsdale, and for a good month before we went, I had dreams, all kinds of dreams about it.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hinsdale
and I
is
really tried not to. I
different
really tried to be
place.
like,
Hinsdale is such a different place. It's I can't explain because you go there
yeah,
and then you come back and it's like it keeps on calling you like you have to go back
I
I've
have
heard
heard that. I have
and
heard
you
that.
have to go back and you want to go back so bad and it's like yeah and then you go there
Yeah,
and of course you get stuff but it's like there's always something new going on there.
yeah.
And it's like, of course you get the kids running up and around the upstairs,
Stairs.
back and forth and laughing at you. And then you
Yep.
go running up the stairs, they stop, and as you go back down the stairs, they laugh at you some more, you know?
Yeah,
But you always get something, and
yeah.
Hinsdale is like a different place. It's like, it just
It
draws
is.
you back
It
there.
is a bit otherworldly. Yeah. I mean, just the three of us went. My little brothers and I, Frankie and Anthony and I. And it was definitely we felt that we brought a certain energy into it. I think I said that before with the family dinner and all that. And I think that is a place that if you bring a certain energy in, that's the kind of energy you're going to get there. If you bring a really dark energy into that
Or
place,
fear.
good luck. Yeah, exactly.
If you bring
Exactly.
fear, it's going to amp up.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we didn't have a bad. We had a good time. It was fun. We did get stuff, but at
Mhm.
the same time, none of us were scared. That type of thing. But we also brought that positive energy into the place. So who knows?
Mhm. Yeah, it was me, Ron Lourdes, and Giuseppe.
Uh huh.
Four of us went
I
there.
remember you guys just went a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that had to have been fun energy. I mean, all of you guys are fun and goofy,
Right.
but you're also very serious about what you do. So
Yeah. I mean, we had planned a lot of experiments before we went there, and that's kind of why just the three of us went. We kind of planned it as a sort of a summit of our own, really, to try some of our own experiments.
Yeah, that's what we
Frankie,
did.
you know that room at the top with the closet? It's like a closet, but the mirror is in it, that long room. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a mirror, like a sort of like a that you can stare
Oh
into.
yes, yes. That's. I think that was a closet at one time,
Yeah,
like a walk-in
yeah.
closet.
So
yeah.
Frankie was in there doing an experiment when we left him. We didn't even think about it. We're like, let's go somewhere else, downstairs or whatever. And poor Frankie had like these blindfold on or something, he had like one of those virtual reality things on,
Yeah.
and he took it up and he was like, guys. And we just left him, and I mean, he's just like never let us forget that. But we were just like, we're out of here.
So what do you think is like your scariest place? Like has anything scared you?
Or made you want to just leave. Not scare you, but you get that
Well,
feeling like maybe I should remove myself.
You
from
did
the-
say that you wore your camera out to the car.
Yeah. That was at Mid Orange Reformatory. No, I can't say I've ever been scared. I don't know if that makes me dumb. I don't know. Like, am I just not, like, I wonder. I think about this a lot. Like, why am I not frightened?
But
I've never been. Like, even as a child. Like,
that's
never.
how I always was. Something about this thing at the Shanley, I don't know if it was like because I knew that I was sleeping by myself and everybody else was on the other side of the hotel. Like there was no one to get. There was no one to go, hey, like this thing is on me. Like that. I think that's what scared me because everybody was on the other side of the hotel.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, there are a lot of things that are terrifying, I'm sure, that happens to people.
But I've never been afraid before. Like even this thing staring me in the eyes and is like,
yeah,
I'm here for you.
And
I was like,
that would be terrifying if I.
Okay.
Of course. How about you, Anthony?
What? Being terrified?
Any place you're so scared you were like, I'm not going there.
Well, I mean, not really any place. I mean, I did have at Hinsdale. I did have a bid experience. Happened to be there. Um, it was maybe about maybe 10 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and I was there with my brother and my teammates and stuff
Oh, your
like that.
team. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
my team.
Joe.
And downstairs, you know where the couches are and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little room offset.
Yep.
Okay, and there was now it's back, but there was a carriage in there,
Oh.
Like a
and
baby carriage?
a baby carriage with a doll in it.
Ew.
And I had a camera set up right in that corner, facing the room with the chairs, with all the
Dolls.
because we had a couple experiences that night.
Oh, wow.
So everybody's on the couches, and then my camera's by the couch, and also we hear click. The hell! I walk up to my camera; it was physically shut off.
Oh.
It's something because you had to switch it off, and that's with the it was the 8mm cameras back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had to set, I had to put it in, but it actually was physically shut off. I'm
Wow.
like, what the hell? So and everybody heard the click, and then it went off. So I felt behind me like cold because I'm facing towards the thing. Behind me is a rocking chair
Yeah.
and the carriage. So I get I my friend Joey McCaffrey,
Right.
and he was on the chair and he had a thermal a meter, you know, the ones that you
Yeah.
press.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's shooting behind. I said, "There's something behind me." So he's shooting behind me, and the temperature was dropping very quickly. So I was like, "Oh," I said, "Okay." I put my hand there, I feel the temperature going down, stuff like that, and I touched. I said, "I'm going to touch the carrot," you know, because it's metal handle. I touched it. As soon as I touched it, I had the worst vision I ever
Oh.
had. I had a woman pouring fluid on top of a baby and setting the baby on fire. Okay, I let that go, and I took off and I went outside the back of the house. Tears coming down my face, and that never happened to me ever,
Oh, my goodness.
or from that. I never happened ever again, even to the day.
No.
Never had
No.
that.
No.
Tears were coming down,
I
and
mean,
I wasn't crying; just the tears were just coming out of my eyes.
just stress, like just that.
So
Yeah.
I went outside, and I was like, "Holy shit!" He was like,
Yeah.
you know, I was saying other words too.
Yeah.
And my brother comes out and he goes, "You okay?" I'm like, and I told him what happened, and he's like, I said, "I don't know if I want to go back in now." And he's like, oh, he goes, "You want to? What do you want to do? Want to stay in the car?" And I said, "You know something? I came all this way. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to go back in. I'm
Right.
coming back in. I'm
Right.
not going to stay." So I wiped my eyes, and it was the weirdest feeling because I don't know how to explain it because it was like a sadness and a fear, and but I wasn't afraid, but it was like weird. I go back in, and I told you I'm not too smart. And so my brother's like, touch the carriage again, see what happens. Touch the carriage. So my brother's like antagonizing me. I said, you know something? Yeah, I will touch. I touched the carriage, and I seen that baby all ash.
Oh.
Oh.
And I let go, and I'm like, okay, that's enough for tonight. You know what I mean? For me on that.
Did
You
you
know?
ever figure out what like that related to or anything? Like I would want to know.
I drew the pictures of it. I seen Dan maybe a year later at Gettysburg, and I showed him the picture.
I
And
have
he
goosebumps.
said, that
I
is
have
the weirdest
chills.
thing because one of the psychics that were up there
Yeah.
seen a woman and drew her, and it was the same picture I drew a year before.
It was weird. As you were saying what you were seeing and you said about the baby, I was seeing what you were going to say.
Really? But don't you get the sense that at Hinsdale anything can happen?
Anything
I mean,
goes.
anything can happen. I feel like 1 minute we're having pasta, but I wouldn't be surprised if the next minute it turned completely the
Yeah.
other way.
Well, right after that all happened, the front door of the place.
Yep.
We had it locked.
With that porch.
There's a new
Right.
door later on, but that was the original one, the original door that was there.
Okay.
And I physically locked it. All right. Now it's back on the chairs. It's back in those couches. It's getting late, maybe at 4 in the morning.
You gotta
Back
lock
in those
it.
couches.
Right.
Also, we
People
hear
out there.
click,
Oh,
the
no.
door opening.
Like the Ritz.
Okay. Giuseppe was with us. He seen the door open. Giuseppe and Joey seen the door open.
There's a light out there. Did it go off? Isn't there like a motion sensor light out there?
Of course, I get up and I go running. I get to the door, no light on. The door's open all the way, and that was the old door. So when it got to a certain point, you had to push
Oh, wow.
it, okay? Because you
Yeah.
just opened up and you had to push it, and it opened up like somebody pushed it open. So we all jump. I go running out there. Everybody comes running out. We go around, see if there's anybody around.
Yeah, of course. Your
Nobody's
first
around.
instinct is there a person out there?
You know what I mean? We're out there. Hey, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
because
You know,
people
like,
hang out. They come down that street.
yeah,
they
they always
look at
come
it,
in
I'm
and out.
like,
We had
yeah.
so many people show up that
Yeah,
night.
that would have been what I would have said.
But the whole thing is, that sensor did not go off.
That motion's the light.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
light did not go on.
Yeah,
If you don't
I just
come
feel
up
like
to the front,
anything
it goes
can happen
on.
at that
That was
place.
not going on. So we had that. And then I think a couple months later, that's when Nick started,
Yep.
he did the show there, Lockdown,
Yes.
and the same thing happened to him. The door opened.
Yep.
That's like the place that you can totally see everything from Amityville happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like over and over and over again.
Exactly. I mean, nothing would surprise me at that place,
No.
good or bad. know?
I mean, and it's not just a building; it's outside
No,
too.
I honestly think
I got
outside
chased
is
from
much more
something chased
scary.
me down from the. Now I was outside. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
and we had a big bonfire going on there. We had a tent and a
Yep. There's a big
bonfire.
fire in the back. Yep.
Yeah. So being a scout that I am, so I was a scout master. And I'm inside, and I noticed, and I poured a ton of water on it earlier to shut it down. So I seen sparks like embers coming out of it. So I said, okay, maybe I'm. So I go grab a bucket. I go over there, and I'm out there. I'm pouring it in, and I'm mixing it in, making all that mud to make sure the stuff's out.
Oh
All
yeah.
of a sudden I hear something running through the woods, coming down off the hill. Sounds like it's going through not in the path, but through the woods. I
Okay.
hear
Not
the-
on that path
The,
up there.
the
Just
branches and everything shaking and
Yeah.
everything, like something's running through it. I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if it's a person, an animal.
I'm
but
getting
it sounded more like
cryptid. I don't know why.
what
And
are you getting?
I said, okay.
Cryptid.
Well, I took my ass and I ran back in that house and I locked the door because I figured I was out there by myself.
Oh yeah.
So I look and I'm looking out and there was nothing there. The fire
there's
was out,
coyotes
there was nothing there.
Out there. I mean,
Yes, coyotes. That's another thing. I was worried
I
about
kept hearing those.
coyotes,
That was creepy.
bears, and
Yeah, bears.
lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my!
Didn't Katrina walk outside and
Yeah,
she
she
was
went out.
afraid of the woods and she walked out and just kept walking with this like blank look on her face and she went
Yep.
out into the woods and it was
Yep.
weird. It was so
Yep.
weird.
And now they have a kayak. You can go out in the middle of the pond.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
No.
When I first
That's
started
not-
going there, everything was
That's
all
not Friday
dirt.
the 13th scary or anything like that. It's like that's not
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason.
Exactly.
I mean, when I first got there, it was all mud. It was a dirt road that
Oh,
went
yeah.
up there, and the lake was overgrown.
Yep.
And I mean, the cesspool was
Yeah.
it was
I mean,
overfilled, and
it's
I
so
mean,
different now.
the bees in the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All kinds of insects. Now
Flies.
he
They're still
changes. Yeah, the flies. But
I
there
don't
was
get
there was bees in the wall. So when you were in Mary's room, you hear.
Oh,
You're like,
wow.
what the hell is that? It was like bees in the wall right there inside. So
No, I mean we had flies and it was like December.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't
I-
happen.
I know. I didn't get that. And you know what? You're gonna laugh, but me being the nerd, I was more mad because I couldn't hear anything. It was all buzzing. Like all you could hear on the recording was like flies. So
Mhm.
it kind of
But
ruined
nothing was there.
No, I didn't hear anything, but I mean, I couldn't. The flies were so loud. I couldn't. I was trying to listen for voices.
Oh, there
like,
were flies,
and I was
but you
like,
couldn't hear the
stupid
EVPs.
flies. I can't hear the voices.
But that could have been a good thing too.
Yeah,
The flies could be white noise,
it was like that. Yeah, a little bit, but
and you could hear voices through that.
yeah, yeah. No, that place is otherworldly for sure, and I'm looking forward to going back. But
Yeah.
Raul said, forget that, I'm not kayaking in a haunted lake, and we had flies in January and it was freezing inside and
oh,
made
it was
no sense.
freezing. I agree. I actually have talked to him about this. Yeah, he and I were talking about how cold it was, and Anthony can tell you because he came down and slept on the other couch. I had, I think, my clothes, my parka, my sleeping bag, and a blanket.
It's cold up there to begin with.
And
I
I'm
don't
from
care.
Rochester. Like I grew up in like a free, up near Buffalo, like freezing snow, whatever. It was so cold we were there. It was really,
Yeah.
really cold.
I was just up there it was like 2 weeks ago maybe, and it was cold up there then. It was like 50 something for summer,
Yeah.
and it was cold. And it
Yeah.
changed like on a dime.
Yep.
You're by the lake, so you're going to get everything, all that cold
yeah,
air comes from
yeah.
Canada.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Lake Ontario. We had snow squalls.
But here's
Like, I would go
the
and-
question. So were the flies moving slowly?
No,
That's what's weirder.
no, they were live. Like they were really buzzing around and everything. And I was like, how are we going to get the noise under control?
And the basement doors in front of the toilet. Oh no.
Yeah, they
You know,
moved it.
speaking
Yeah.
of real, he just said that to me too. He was like, I didn't like that part. Like,
No, that's
Well,
weird.
Remember the toilet? They moved it over now. It's not right next to the door. It's like in front of it. It's like they moved it over.
a
It used to be
little.
right in front of the door.
Yeah.
So I remember going there when it was right next to the door. It was right next to the door. And you're sitting on the toilet, and all of a sudden the door starts shaking.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, shh. I said, not now.
So wait, is the basement door
Not
in
now.
the
Come
bathroom?
on, guys.
It is
Huh?
in the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the door's still in the bathroom.
basement's in the bathroom.
That place, I don't know.
They
I
moved it. I don't know. When's the last time you've been there? You just recently?
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
We changed a lot. I mean, the shower works. Well, I went there to the shower right before I
Hell
left.
no, you never
It was too
take a
cold.
shower
We
in a
could- it was
haunted
too cold.
location.
It was too cold.
Are you kidding me? Who
We were
cares?
We were so cold.
They
It
see
was so
you
cold.
naked. They're gonna be scared and leave me alone.
No, have you seen the Bates Motel? No.
You know what
I think I'm with Raul. No, going into the middle of the water.
I took a shower while I was there. I was like, I had to. I was driving back. You know?
Freezing cold anyway, so no, you just wait till you get home. I don't care if it's like a month
so
later.
Cold. Yeah, it was cold. Have you guys have you investigated anywhere else, like in Europe or anything, or
Out of country now. I have it.
no?
Well, I've been to Mexico a couple of times, and I kind of like even if nobody knows I'm doing it, I'm investigating.
Of course. I mean, like, admit it, right? We're at the library, and do you find that you can't turn it off? Like I know I
Yeah.
do. Even I mean, my house is absolutely, in my opinion, there's no activity at my house, right, at all. But still, if I hear a noise right now, I'm like, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like, I go right to it. Like, and it's so
Well,
funny.
stuff
You can't
happens
do
in
it.
my house. Like my husband was sitting on the couch one day. He came home from work. He closed the door. He locked it. He put the latch lock on like they have in the hotels. And he said all of a sudden he was freezing. And it was in January or something. And he got up and he looked, the door's wide open. So he went over to close it, and he saw a shadow figure run up the stairs.
Oh my goodness.
Now my husband's a police officer.
Okay.
So he's like,
And mine works at the federal police. It's so funny. We're all
he is
like,
federal. He's federal police.
Okay.
So he sees the shadow figure run up the stairs. Now I'm sleeping, and he doesn't come up. He just closes the door, locks it, and latch locks it, and sits back down with the dogs. But he's like the whole time watching TV, thinking about it at the same time. 2 nights later, I think it was, I'm sleeping and I always lay on my face and I face the door. I can hear in my head while I'm sleeping. This is the weirdest.
No.
padded feet coming up the stairs, which
Like
wakes me up.
Like an animal? Like a dog?
No, human
Not that kind of
feet,
padded.
like
Oh, okay.
like in socks maybe.
Oh, okay.
But I hear it in my head that wakes me up, and I literally go like this. And I see two figures standing
Oh,
at the
boy.
top of the stairs that were maybe 3 feet and 2 feet, that were not opaque and not translucent,
Mm.
but have like a jagged edge around it, like energy. And they're both pink energy. And I
Okay.
hear in my head, healing you.
Is that good? That's good.
They were aliens, alienish.
Oh. Oh, wow.
But
Did you bring it back from Mexico?
that wasn't after Mexico. This was just recently. But Mexico, maybe with the pyramids. But
Maybe
the
a little too
weird
much
part
tequila,
was,
right?
after that happened is when everything was being shot out of the sky,
Right.
and healing you. It was the weirdest voice too. Healing you.
Healing you. Like
Healing
healing you.
you. Yeah. I'm
And the pink, because I mean, like Stacy, she always, my best friend who I work with, my partner,
It's
she
supposed to
always
be
talks
like
about
psychic
healing. Yeah,
psychic.
she always talks about pink with healing.
Yeah. So psychic, I think pink is supposed to be like psychic abilities, and green is supposed to be like healing.
Oh, okay.
But I have pictures of bodies on my ceiling, like the shape of a body
That's right out of the Dead Files.
in
Yep.
pink, and
Wow.
they're supposed to be like ascended masters. I was hearing ascended masters, and that was pink. And my cat was meowing at it, and I took the pictures, and I'm
Oh,
like,
right.
I changed the filters on my phone, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like bizarro. When
That's
I first
bizarre.
started, all like,
That's a whole new level. Wow.
but
You've actually heard a dog on the other side, right, Anthony? Is that you?
Yeah. Well, with the when we were doing the with
Oh,
Ron,
Satacom. Right. Okay.
yeah, with the static.
That was you, right? I
We
know
was
someone
doing
said
the what?
it was
Yeah.
you, right? Who heard
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. It was
That's
and they were
amazing.
going around questions, and and everybody's asking questions. Of course, I got to think outside the box. I said, "Mom,
Right.
if Cookie's with you, can you make her bark?"
Right.
And she
And-
barked. And her
no
barking.
way.
Yeah, roof. And not only, I mean, there was 30 people in that room,
That's amazing. And they all heard it.
and they all heard it. Everybody went. "Ugh." Next to me was Kelly from Shanley, Kelly and Tracy.
Yep.
And you should have seen it because I have it on video. I actually videotaped. And
That's incredible.
you guys see her face, like, oh, like, the way
There's
she did
nothing
it.
like that when everyone hears it at once when you're doing that.
We all heard it, and it's clear. You're, whoo, whoo. And I'm like, holy shit.
and see, that's the thing you said. Like, do you feel like that every time? This just proves it. Every single one of us were like, oh my God, that's amazing. We all feel the same way. We all
It's just
hear these
incredible.
things. Yeah, every single time we feel the same way. It's just amazing that this keeps happening. And when I was actually sitting getting my windshield fixed, and the first time I ever saw an animal, it was a German Shepherd. And I said, Frank, this is weird because it's another Frank.
That is funny.
And I never met this guy before, but we were talking, and I went into the garage with him, and I said, do you have a German Shepherd? And before I could even get the whole thing out of my mouth, he was like, come here, boy. Come here,
Frank.
And I was like, oh my God, it's not like a living dog.
Oh.
And he's calling this dog, and he was looking outside the garage, and I said,
shoot.
I didn't really mean it that way. Like, did you have a German Shepherd?
Did you have at one
He's
time?
crying, and he's going, Bear, come here, Bear. And I said,
Aw.
I'm really sorry, but he's with you because his dad had cancer. The dog passed away from cancer.
Aw.
So the connection was bringing the dog in because
You're amazing. Wow.
I never saw a dog that was a spirit before, but it was really cool because he was curled up on the floor in the garage with him. He was working with them that day. It was amazing.
when you have a pet, that's so comforting to think
You
about.
know, I've seen animals I've seen animal, spirits. Or in the past, I had um, with my dog Cookie and everything. But
I love that name.
at Selma Mansion,
Uh-huh.
um,
I've been
I
there.
have I have a picture. I drew a picture of it, but I was standing in the back of the Selma Mansion.
Mhm.
At the time, I forgot who the caretaker was. It wasn't.
Not the new guy.
No, not Freeman.
Yeah.
Um, not the one that just passed. It was a woman before that,
Right.
and we're standing outside, and I'm standing there, and I'm talking to her. All of a sudden, I see a dog come running from like the staircase
Yep.
towards us, and running into the room on the side, and that's where the general was supposed to be. He's to be sitting there
Yeah.
smoking cigars all the
That
time.
room off. Yeah.
And I
It's
said,
like a piano.
"Wasn't a dog in here?" And he was black and white. And she looked at me. She goes, "That was the general's dog. We got pictures of it."
Oh wow.
That's
And you
cool.
never saw that before.
And I also in the room that's next to it where the piano is.
Yeah.
We had little cat toys. The little cat balls.
Yeah, the cat balls.
And,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
put it on the floor. And that's before now that they're all popular now, but that's before they were popular. We just threw them
Yeah.
down there. And all of a sudden, I'm standing there, and I was talking to the same woman after that, because after the dogs, we walked over to the room back where we had all our equipment. And I'm standing there, and her back is towards that room, and I'm over here, and I'm like, I see a cat's tail.
Oh
I
wow.
see the back of the cat, and a tail just go across. And she goes, "What happened?" I said, "I just seen a cat in that room."
That's
And
so cool.
she goes, "There is a cat spirit that wanders the building."
You don't think of that. Yeah,
No.
exactly.
And you may not have seen the whole cat because maybe that was a wall or something before, so
Right.
it was
Like a
covering
residual
up.
thing.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, it could be
amazing.
almost anything. I just seen the tail and the back of the cat and the legs. I didn't see the whole cat.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
there may have been a wall there.
Speaking of cats, you did ask me if I was ever scared. Not scared, but on my bucket list has always been Kreischer Mansion, and I did go there last year. And it was the
I love
day
that
in March. It was March 12th. I won't forget because it was the day that there was like an ice storm, and it was really bad out, really really bad. Like not snow, but it was like ice and freezing cold and really bad. And the wind was like 50 miles an hour. We decided to go anyway, right? I'm only like 20 minutes from there. Um, we were in the basement, right, with the furnace, the famous furnace where the unfortunate victim was, disposed of.
Yeah, I know Corey Cement very well.
Yeah, I loved it. If you ask me my favorite, that would be it. That would be
You
it.
gotta get an investigation. I always get investigations there.
It was. I love that
Yeah.
place, but in the basement, we thought we saw a cat, and we wanted to make sure that there wasn't a cat in there because you hear
The
something fall,
basement?
yeah.
Okay, I'll
There's
tell you
there's
about
like a
that.
broken piece of glass. Like we thought maybe a cat got in. There's like a little window in the corner. We thought, okay, cat got in. But we looked and looked and looked. There were no cats, no cats, no cats. And it's very loud. That furnace is loud. But so I said very loudly, I said, if you're gonna make a noise, you're gonna have to make it loud because that furnace is really loud. And all of a sudden, crash, like the loudest crash you ever heard. And then all the motion lights went off at the same time, like at the same place we heard the crash. And I'm telling you, I scoured that place for a cat. There was no cat there. Like it was one of the most mind-blowing things. I mean, so much stuff happened to me there that I couldn't explain. It was like, what a cool place. What a great investigation.
I'm going to blow your mind even more. 10 years ago, maybe about 12 years ago, when I went there,
Yeah,
first time I ever went there, maybe about 12,
it's
13 years
amazing.
ago. And in the basement, next to, that refrigerator, that box,
Yeah,
that
there's
ice
like
box,
a refrigerator, a big walk-in refreezer.
on the left-hand side on the floor,
Right.
there was a skeleton of a cat.
What?
I
I'm
swear to
telling you,
God.
I really thought that had to be
There
a
was a
cat. but I
skeleton of
didn't
a
find it.
cat, and I told the owner, the caretaker at that time,
Yeah.
he goes, "Yeah, that's been there for a while."
Yeah, they get in like through that window. So
There's
that's
a
what I thought at
skeleton of
first,
a
but
cat.
there was no cat.
and there was a skeleton of a cat that was there. I mean, that. So if you seen a cat down there, it could have been that.
Right. Right. I thought there had to be a cat, but there wasn't, and
It
it
was a
was
skeleton
really
of a
amazing.
cat. You could see it died there and it
Oh.
rotted, and it was like you got the skeleton and still some of the fur underneath it. It was down that basement.
That's lovely, Anthony. That's great. I won't think about that when I go to bed tonight.
That is crazy.
No, but
Want
that
the one
place.
description of it? No.
I'm like holding
I'm
my
that's the
cat's
nice
ears right
version of
now.
it.
I'm like holding Frankie's ears. Like, don't listen to that.
No, listen.
That I think I've shown you that box that Anthony is gifted, and our Anthony at you're gifted too, but our Anthony is gifted at building. Like, if we don't have it, he's going to build it, right? One of those amazing people. So he built what he calls an EMPT box. We call it the empty box. Haha. And it has a crystal for an antenna, but you have to touch it. And it looks very much like one of those music boxes with the ballerinas kind of thing, remember those? And I love using that at places like Kreischer, because I'm thinking there's a REM pod or there's that, right? And like, if I'm the woman of the house and that's on the mantle with a crystal on top, I'm going to check that jewel box out, It's not a scary looking loud red thing, kind of thing. Like, it's great. But we had that box go off on that mantle like crazy in Kreischer.
Yeah, that place. I got a great EVP from that place. I was going down to the basement, and I'm going down, and the step. There was a step that was
they
broken
took the
there.
step out. The FBI.
Yeah, they said they removed that step. The FBI moved that step with blood on it.
Yep.
Well, that step was a little loose still. So we're going down the basement. I'm telling the people with me. It was like two other people. I'm like, be careful of that step. As I'm going down, I don't hear nothing. Going down, I played it back, and it says I got an EVP. I did not do it. Yeah.
But I wonder.
And I'm like, and remember that basement was where they killed.
Well, outside he drowned. Yeah,
Well, that was
him.
one. The other people you don't know.
Right.
That used to be. They used to be the
There was
top.
mafia, right?
Okay. Yeah, Gambino.
That was
Not the Gambino, the Bananas. And they used to be a kill. That was how they kill people there. And they used to kill them, chop them up, and then burn them in the furnace. That's how. That's what.
I know. Yeah, that's what happened to him. I mean, I guess he was stabbed.
So maybe he was down there saying,
and then cut up.
"He didn't do it," and before they killed him. Or maybe the guy who upstairs, maybe he was saying it before they drowned him and stabbed him.
But what's so interesting about that place is that you have that mafia recent murder, and then you have you have the Kreischers, the brothers, right? So I mean, upstairs we play German folk music, and then we had a man's EVP. We said, "Do you want to stop or keep going?" And it says, "Keep going." A man. So I mean, I think it was more of like a Kreischer than a,
Yeah, well, we got the name of the Kreischers there too, but remember, I don't know if you got to see me when I do the S's.
Yeah.
In wireless.
Yeah.
Okay. With 2 locations.
We do it all the time. Yeah.
The
But I've seen
at Chrysler Mansion we had one woman cat. She was on the 3rd floor, and Giuseppe was in the basement, and they were fighting back and forth.
Wow.
Like the one on the 3rd floor was a woman that's being abused, like she said she's pregnant and all this stuff, and the guy down the basement saying, "Shut the F up, shut up."
Oh yeah.
And you're going back and forth, and then Lourdes says, "Why are you talking to her so like?" And he said, "Shut up, bitch."
Oh.
Yeah.
Pleasant.
And,
That I get as being mafia.
And
Yeah.
it was like it was like a thing going back and forth between the 3rd floor and the basement, which was cool because we were on the 1st floor, so that's why I do it wireless, so nobody could hear each other, and they were interacting back and forth.
Yeah,
so
that's incredible. I mean, when that works, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean it works. The way I've been doing it has been coming out. We did it at the Shanley recently, and the two locations, and at the end, I read because I write down everything they say,
Right. Yes.
and you read across, and it was like they were talking back and forth. They were like
Oh,
telling a little story. So it was pretty cool.
some people, I find that to be like some people are better at it than others. You know, I
Mhm.
think it's a lot to hear. You
I
know,
can't do
and
it.
right. So you know what I'm saying, right? Don't let me forget to say, first of all, that please, this is your cordial. It's on tape. It's recorded. You are cordially invited to the Ritz. Please come to the Ritz.
I would love that.
Please be my guest. See, you heard me. I invited her.
I heard you.
I would
I'll
love that.
definitely be back.
You always go. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's nice is we've developed sort of a family there, right? Like the Holtays come and
Yeah,
Ron
I
and
love the
Lourdes
Holtays.
and you, and like, oh, they're so wonderful, so
Yeah.
wonderful.
And I definitely love Ron and Lourdes. They're
Oh, they're
amazing.
they're okay.
They're
Oh,
yeah.
stop.
You're all right too.
Yeah.
No, but you know,
I'm all
we always say this, Frankie and I. We're like, you know, you attract good people if you do good things, right? Like, and we just want to do good things.
I agree.
Oh, it's
So
been,
we don't want to keep you late.
I know it's
Obviously.
just fascinating talking to you guys. Like, I know
Same.
Well, do you have
I
anything
started
coming
asking
up
you questions, and
before you go?
Mhm.
Do you have anything coming up that you want to,
so
promote?
we do have two. If anybody is interested in bringing a team to the Ritz, we do have 2 dates open, August 2nd and August 26th. The 26th is a Saturday. I think the 2nd's in the middle of the week, so that's a little bit hard. But we have to do it on days that the theater is dark. But we do have 2 more days open that we know of. And like I said, that summit coming up in November. If you enjoyed VIP night, just wait for the summit.
Do you have anything else on the Ritz going on? Like any new guests coming up?
We just had like 10 guests, didn't we? We just finished it, and I think,
Yeah, I know. You have like 10 guests now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no. Now I think it was just like, okay, now we have a bunch of investigations, and then we'll start over in the fall.
Well, you had good people.
We had
Yeah.
amazing guests who all added to the layers at the Ritz. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We did. And you know what? It was great because I got to ask them all, what do you think about the door? I said to Daryl, because he's in construction, I'm like, Daryl, figure out this door for me, please. And he was like, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah, you can't prove that door.
That stupid door. Yeah, you looked at it for 2.5 hours straight.
I know.
And
I got the camera,
the best
like,
thing he said wouldn't be the first time I looked at a door for 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, I did it at Gettysburg. We had a doorknob that door supposed to open. So I left the camera on the whole time. We went out for dinner. We went out a couple of investigations. We come back, and then next day, what do you go? When I come back, I'm watching a doorknob
Right.
for like for 4 hours. I'm like,
Well, absolutely, you're invited. Please come, please come, please come. We'll get you info about November, and yeah, be my guest, please. And yeah, you just enjoy, you guys. I hope, I wish you well. I'll see you. I feel like I see you all the time, Anthony, and that makes me so happy. I mean, we have a
you're a
lot of
great person
joy.
to be around.
We're very lucky.
You're a good investigator. You're a very good
Thank you
investigator.
so much. Like I said, I learn from you all the time. And we have fun. We have so much fun.
What's
have
he say?
to.
Couldn't forget to check.
I mean, you don't do it for another reason, right? Like, you have to enjoy it. So,
I
anyway,
mean, I've been doing it such a long time. It's just second nature now.
yeah. But I do. I learn from everybody I investigate with.
And I've learned too.
I think we all do. We all learn
Yeah.
something from everyone, which is great.
You have to laugh. You have to have fun. We have somebody at the Ritz who keeps calling Frankie a freak, which makes me laugh. Of course. Last time you were there, it goes, "You're a freak." I was like, "Well, okay, no."
No, we're gonna have you back on. Maybe we'll have a whole team next
Oh,
time, Frankie
please. I
and
mean-
everybody.
And hopefully we can do it together because, like you said, there's a little bit of magic there between the three of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there really is.
We had a good time. I really enjoy investigating with you, and like I said, we always seem to always find something too.
Yep.
That's the great part about it.
It is. It's great.
you
Well,
know?
we'll see each other soon, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, Strauss Mansion.
Strauss
there.
Mansion. Oh, what is that? That's in August, isn't it?
August 20. Yeah, that is August. That's the
26th?
25th or 26th.
Okay.
Yeah. Strauss. I'll see you there. We're all going to that.
Yeah.
Ron, Richard, who's wonderful, wonderful.
He is. He's a sweetheart.
We're so fortunate to have connected with such good people so quickly.
That's that's the best thing about it when you got a
High
good group.
vibration brings in good vibrations.
See?
Good vibration.
Can't get that from science.
No, you can't. Like I said, we have fun. We have so much fun and we have so much joy. Like we laugh and laugh and laugh. I mean,
Absolutely.
thank
Absolutely.
you so much for having me.
Thanks
You're
for
so
being
honored to
with
be here.
us. It was great having you. Hi, Tom. Bye, Tom. He
Who's
just
Tom?
stopped in. Tom Nally. He's part of
Oh.
BB3. He actually owns BB3 TV. So
Hi, Tom.
he just stopped in at the very end.
Yeah.
It was great having you. Please come back anytime and bring the guys
bring
with
the
you.
brothers, the little brothers,
Yeah.
the guys.
Your little brothers.
Back.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm much older. I just don't look it. No, I'm
Don't
kidding.
say that.
I do.
Yeah, kid.
Anytime.
much
We would love to have you back. This was
Thank you.
Dimensions of the Supernatural. Please come back and visit us on Thursdays from 7:30 to 9:30. I am Maureen Grudzinski. This
Well,
is
if you like us, please hit like.
share,
Hit the
bring
like
your friends,
button. Yeah.
and visit anytime.
And thank you for everybody for coming and joining us tonight. You know, we had a
Thank you
good
so
time.
much.
This is
Thank you so much.
Jenny Colucci. Check her out. Check the guys
There's
out. There's a link in the comments. So we will see you
Okay.
next time, Thursday
Okay.
nights, 7:30 to 9:30.
Good night, everyone.